Welcome to episode 38 of the No Scrubs podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, and joining with me today, a man who just hit his PB on the squats, not a BP. Stephen, how you going?
I'm so sore, and I'm going to be sore tomorrow. 105 kg squat 20 times in a row. I'm going to see if I can steal a wheelchair at work. I'm going to say it. I was like, I'm hurting.
For a squirting?
Always. But, hey, can I say, last week was such a super stacked card. So many things happened. And it's nice to see that we're just back into our canon episode. Like, yeah, man. There was so much cool stuff shown. It's just when you've had to watch it all keeps on coming out. It's like you are spoiled for choice when it comes to games, but there gets to a point where it's just like, bro, is this too many games? Am I too spoiled for choice? Is my plate too full?
There's so many fucking games announced today. It was unreal. It was just... I still can't believe how many fucking showcases we had to go over. It was just truly absurd. And, you know, our boy Scrippet was like, oh, you could just go through them like one a week. I was like, man. By the end of like... You got 6 showcases. By the end of that, you're like... Man, that's old news, eh? 6 weeks ago, we couldn't do it, so we had to tackle all of it, minus skimming over the last 2. But
and it's like,
it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. It's just, yeah, we do the podcast every second week, but we like to hit the news while it's still warm.
While it's still news.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, maybe moving forth, if we have another stacked card, instead of doing an individual episode, maybe we can do like side quest, the original initial one, and then for the sort of smaller stuff, we could call like side quest grand tour, and that can be like cover the other stuff.
Yeah, side quest.
Fetch quest. Everyone's favourite side quest.
Yeah, oh, fucking export. No, export? What am I saying? Escort.
Yeah.
The ones that you fuck. Escort mission. Ugh. Underwater level. Ice level. Fuck.
It was you Hamish were talking about a game. Oh no, I think it was Hamish. She was talking about Monster Hunter Worlds, and there's this thing where you've got to like escort this person and like this cargo, and I'm pretty sure the quest is called Everyone's Favourite Mission.
Yeah, sometimes as well they're not so bad, and it's good to break it up, but sometimes you're like, this shit again. Like, I really have a problem in games where, so I got 2 examples. It wasn't actually as bad in the remake. So the remake's of Spyro, right? So those flying missions in the first Spyro on PlayStation 1, what a fucking nightmare. You learn how to control the game in a specific way, and then it's like, now we've got completely different controls, and I think forced inverted back in the day as well for the flying, and I found it so fucking difficult. I really struggled with that. And remake, I didn't have a problem. I actually found them pretty easy, but the other one was Enter the Gungeon, where they're like, cool, you know how to play the game now, you've mastered it. All right, now to beat this boss, you've got to do a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out mini-game to beat the boss. And you're like, what the fuck? I haven't practiced this at all. I've never played this fucking game, and just lost. And you're like, man, it's so hard as well. You've got to do all these things, and you've got to have things have got to just fall right into place. You can't get to fight the rat boss every time, so you can't even practice it. You just got to go through the entire run and hope you get the right stuff to be able to even attempt it again. And that's where I'm like, fuck this shit. I think you should, maybe if you make a side mode, sure, but don't give me these entirely different mechanics that I have no way of practicing to get good at, and then be like, here you go, enjoy, do it. And you're like, the fuck?
Though, shout out to one of the Spyro games. I want to say it's 2 or 3, or I might be like mixing the two up. But it's like Spyro 2, you, instead of like the freeing the dragons, you were collecting the eggs, right? I'm pretty sure, I think the second one, when you beat Ripto, you unlock like this carnival, or like a fair. And I think it's like if you collect X amount of eggs, you can unlock the ability just to free fly.
That's a cool thing to have right at the end of the game, right? Because that's all. Ripto's obviously the last boss. So, I mean, it's Ripto's rage.
Oh,
So it does make sense. I don't mind that kind of stuff. They used to always do that stuff, and like, to be fair, Crash Bandicoot, the getting the running shoes at the end of Crash 3, you're kind of like, okay,
good. Yeah.
yes, it's to get the relics, but at the same time, you're like, this is not very exciting. Playing that game as a kid, Wumpa Fruit Bazooka, you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. Playing as an adult, you're like, this actually completely ruins the pacing of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you just play so safe because you can just go, oh, I could just pull this out and shoot everything. And you're like, this actually is a really terrible design.
Goes against like it's going to sound wank, but the gameplay philosophy of the
100%.
fast pace of Crash.
Yeah,
Instead,
100%.
and it's shoddy aiming, and he holds it like a dork. He's like,
whoa.
But also shout out Spyro 2, because Ripto was such a better villain than the big blue bitch in 3.
Nasty Nork.
Oh, Nasty Nork was pretty cool.
He was one.
Yeah.
Who was the one in 3? Spoilers for Spyro 3. I thought Nasty Nork came back, but to be fair, I only like the first Spyro.
The
I really
Sorceress.
do. Is that literally the name? Oh,
Yeah,
so
that's
fucking lame.
the Sorceress.
Why not just give her a name? To be fair, Nasty Nork, I think if they did him as a villain later, I think would have been way cooler. He's fairly scary, like imposing looking dude, but just fairly lackluster. However, Spyro 1 does fucking rule. It just felt like they just dumbed it down so much for kids with each one. They dumbed it down a bit in 2, and they dumped it down a bit more in 3. They're like, yeah, but he rides a skateboard. I'm like, man. It is a kid's game, to be fair.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot felt like they didn't do that, and I think it showed with Naughty Dog versus Insomniac. Even though I'm a bigger Ratchet and Clank fan than Jack and Daxter. I love Ratchet and Clank. I still love Ratchet and Clank. I platinumed the last Ratchet and Clank game that came out. Fucking banger.
I really enjoyed in Jak 3 where you first come across like these face painted monks, and you're doing stuff, and she calls you out and is like, "We think this is some sort of game." And Jack sort of quickly looks at the camera, looks back.
They were really good. They were really good at that type of humor. I've also got to just check to see if I've got any work messages, because last night I got work messages and the phone just didn't fucking go off because Teams is a piece of shit software.
Could be worse.
Like
You could be
change it.
using WhatsApp.
Ugh. We're fine. All right, so let's get right into the news. I'm not fast as fuck. I can tell you that much right now. Steam got a wee UI update, and I think it actually looks pretty good. Historically, what would happen is Steam would get a UI update. I would go, I don't like this, and then over time I get used to it and go, yeah, this is better. But this one immediately, I'm like, oh, this does just look a little bit better. So I'll just give you the kind of bullet points of it. So it's got a kind of wider, like more modern storefront. It just looks like everything's just a little bit bigger. It's bigger screenshots and artwork. Bit of a cleaner homepage. Personalized release tracking by the personal calendar, which I think is really, really cool. It's an awesome idea. Improved game discovery systems, which is great. I mean, I already think by far, like not even close, Steam has the best discovery of any platform. It's like the discovery on the PlayStation Store is so fucking awful. It's so bad. I fucking hate it. I hate using it. I don't really buy games on Xbox, so I can't tell you how good or bad theirs is because Game Pass exists. But Steam is better. The Nintendo e-store is better to find the things you want, but Stephen will get into a complaint about that very shortly. And a designed Steam Workshop, which, to be fair, the Steam Workshop was pretty old school. So I do think there's a positive update. It's pretty minor, but Steam went from I would say the best storefront by far and the most navigatable, most customizable in terms of showing you what you want and turning things on and off, and then it gave you even more options with the update. So it's not even close how much better of a storefront Steam is than everything else. It really isn't. I should have a look at it in big picture mode at some point and see how it looks, because there's obviously the console experience. Yeah. What do you think of the Steam update? Stephen's like, I haven't paid attention.
No, I actually haven't. Yeah, it looks cleaner. I like the better thumbnails for the games. Of my recent games.
Yeah. Overall, just like a little bigger, a little cleaner. Just like overall, good improvements. But you had a recent complaint to me, I think last night, about the Switch store as well. You wanna?
Yeah. So I understand it's probably easy. You have to follow some hoops and stuff to develop games on the Switch and stuff like that. But I would have thought that Nintendo would be a little bit not so free and loose with what games can be released on it. So I recently got a Switch 2 Pocopia bundle, and I was like, cool. I want to go through the Nintendo store, see games and stuff, just because there's the whole thing where there's games that will be expensive, physical, versus digital. So I wanted to look into that, and I was scrolling down, and it just became more and more. There was just more and more blatant, just quick fix AI games. And it's like what I can compare it to, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but you know how you're scrolling Netflix or something, the more and more and more you scroll, it's just Bollywood flicks, and it's just like, yeah, the more you scroll, it's just these cheap AI games, like ones that are meant to be misleading. Like there was one that's an obvious Call of Duty ripoff, and then you look at the it has a nice art cover art, but you can tell that it's just AI slop. And then you look at the actual game, looks like crap, and there's just so many of them. So I saw
a misleading one recently that was a Chinese game that was just called essentially Sons of the Forest, but obviously there is another game called Sons of the Forest. So they were just trying to trick the Chinese players into buying it.
Yeah, dude. Again, with Nintendo being someone that's quite image conscious, kid friendly. Dude, there was a fucking AI foot fetish game where they just got anime woman, and it's just feet mini games.
That's awful, man.
Yeah.
But could you tell me the name of that game so I can make sure I avoid it?
No, but I wish it was something like Soulmates.
Dude, that's such a fucking good name off the spot. Off the top of the dome, that's unreal. You are the king of this, man. That's fucking insane. Soulmates. Write that down. Someone in a boardroom right now. Oh my god, that's incredible. Yeah, also for context, that Sons of the Forest one was on Steam, not actually on the Switch store. I mean, it could be on both, but... Yeah, so the only one who's really cracking down on this is actually Sony, surprisingly. PlayStation are starting to crack down on all of these. And Steam doesn't, but at the same time, I don't see these games on Steam. You know what I mean? Like, Steam just understands what I like, and so I don't see them. They don't recommend them to me. Like, yes, I occasionally see when I look at the what tab is it? What do they call it? Steam. Popular new releases, and there's about a 50-50 chance that you're going to see a hentai game.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's almost always a fucking hentai game on it. There, for once, there isn't right now. There's a game called Swamp Meat. M-E-A-T. No, Swamp Meat. Dude, I thought it was Swamp Meat.
Oh, it's a game about swinging.
Oh, no. Get your pineapples out. Oh, there's a quite interesting and almost... The art style's kind of good and kind of ugly. It's interesting. It's hard to describe. Swamp Meat. Looks very much like... what was that game we played? That third-person roguelike game that got bought out by Gearbox.
Third-person...
Risk of Rain? Was it Risk of Rain too?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it wants to be Risk of Rain. Interesting. But, yeah. It's... Anyway, kind of off topic, but yeah. It's I think that these smaller platforms, they're not small platforms, but these like Nintendo and the consoles especially, you should curate your storefronts a little bit better than this. So if you don't have the tools like Steam does that you can say, I don't want to see this, then you need to be better at what you're showing the consumer.
Which is real interesting because this is a tale years and years and years ago. I think it was for like DS or something. There was a game called Bob's Game, and there was this guy who essentially it was just like made in a it looked like an RPG maker, and this guy, he's just like, this is the best game ever. I want a dev kit from Nintendo so I can release it on DS. And Nintendo saw it and was like, hey, that's awesome. We don't want to give you a dev kit though. And he threw a massive tanty about it. Dude, look, script when you're on your car ride home, or actually not while you're driving. Please don't do it when you're driving. But when you're bored...
Do it, coward.
Actually, yeah.
Don't let him tell you what to do.
Look up the lore of Bob's Game.
Yeah, don't do that while you're driving.
Don't do that while you're driving. But
actually, look up a YouTube video and then hit play and then start driving the car and only listen to the audio.
Hey. But then you fast track to present day and, you know, where there's like a bit of a flood of just quick fix AI on the eShop.
Yeah, it's a shame, mate, that these storefronts are just getting more and more bloated and gross, but what you're going to do? Well, I do think they will hit a tipping point and they will probably start putting their foot down.
I reckon...
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
What they could do is they could be basically almost have like a criteria that you have to meet before you can release a game on Nintendo. Basically being just like, you can be lewd but not porn, and maybe X amount of proven human hours into this.
They've got more Gurner games than, like, PlayStation is more restrictive on it, and so are Xbox than Nintendo. And I think it's honestly not. Don't wanna just throw an entire race of people under the bus. I think the Japanese want that. I'm not kidding. I think it's for them. I think they genuinely want it. Why else would these other platforms go? You know, the only country where, you know, the most popular country for the Switch is Japan, right? Like, but the Xbox is not popular. No one's got a fucking Xbox in Japan, and PlayStation's not that popular in Japan anymore.
Damn.
They lost the fight for the culture, and Nintendo dominated them. And then after the head office of I don't know if it's Sony, I think it might be the head office of PlayStation, ended up in America. They've slowly become less and less popular in Japan. They're doing less for the Japanese audience, and they're slowly trying things to win them back. Like they had those region-locked PS5s that were cheaper to try to get them into the hands of people, but they also have like fairly small living spaces and that, and they're on the go a lot, so they like to have a portable with them. So the Switch is just way more, like, just ticks way more boxes for the Japanese people.
Would you also say this is sort of symptomatic of Sony chasing, PlayStation chasing that big market, they're wanting to appeal to Westerners, that the Japanese sort of starting to feel a little bit neglected?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that in terms of the global health of your business, do you want to make something that'll be popular in most of the world or something that's popular in a country like Japan? Well, you're probably going to take the global market over the small market of Japan. However, you shouldn't neglect them. That's also where your roots are, and why a lot of people also like PlayStation historically. It's for the Japanese games. Like, you know, after a certain point, that was where you would play Final Fantasy games. Like, yes, you could argue that Nintendo was a platform for Final Fantasy games a long time ago, but Final Fantasy VII blew the fuck up on PlayStation. You know, it's the biggest Final Fantasy by a long shot, and that was a PlayStation game.
It was the original home of like PlayStation 2, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong on the PS3, but it was like the home of Tekken.
Yeah, so I think the Xbox 360 generation was when they started getting Tekken as well. Yeah, I think I had Tekken 6 on Xbox 360. So, yeah, that was about the start. I mean, the PS3 felt like that was when they started losing a lot of the Japanese audience, actually. The first thing was probably the price, because it was hideously expensive for PS3. It was, you know, and when, I mean, because with people here, the retailers here were buying them in New Zealand, you know, New Zealand dollars against the US dollar, so they were, I can't remember if it was 12 or 1300 New Zealand dollars on launch, which is fucked. It's more than the PS5 is now as well, which the PS5 is still expensive. Yeah, and with inflation, it's probably closer to like now like $1,500. Like it's cooked, eh?
And
so,
it had cheap Happy Meal feeling controllers, and then when you explained to me the reason why they felt so cheap, I was like, I
went away from the Boomerang and had to last minute cobble them together and use the molds from the PS2 controllers, which was, look, I love the PS2 and the PS1. Those controllers are fucking awful by today's standards. They're horrific. Those
they're
thumbsticks
too slick.
Yeah, they're slippery. Those thumbsticks are crap. The R2 and L2 buttons get stuck in after a while. Like, they're just not good. Not good at all. The design of it as well, the being convex, I think, you know, is terrible than the concave tops. It's actually just not good design. However, when the PS1 came around, they were the first one to do the dual sticks. Well, first I can remember. Maybe they weren't the first, but they massively popularized it. I think they were the first.
And I want to...
I mean, that's how 3D gaming started to evolve, is because you had two sticks there. Like, dude, Ape Escape. Have you tried to play Ape Escape? What a fucking horrendous control scheme. You're moving the camera with the back buttons, and then you flicking like the right stick for the fucking net. Awful. Kingdom Hearts as well was like L2 and R2 to move the camera. You're like, but it took them a while to figure these things out, right? It just did. 3D gaming wasn't a thing until the PS1. Well, okay, it kind of was on PC, but wasn't much of a thing.
I reckon Ape Escape gets a little bit of a pass where they were trying to do basically not a tutorial, but it's like it would definitely help familiarize people with using these analog sticks.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, absolutely, because have you just handed a controller to someone who's never played a game before? Them having to move a character with one stick and the camera with the other is very confusing for people and very unintuitive. It's intuitive for us because we've done it for, nearly 30 years. 25 plus years we've been doing it. So for us, it's like, great, easy as, but you hand it to someone, it's very fucking confusing of doing these two things at the same time.
That just reminds me, I can't remember what it was, but I was playing fighting games with someone, and
you don't play fighting games, don't you?
No, not at all. I like to watch I watch Maximilian Dude, but no, I was doing some sets, and my mate was like, "You hold the controller so weirdly that I think you're holding it wrong, but you're doing really well. So who am I to criticize?" Usually someone would hold it like that. I would hold it. Yes.
That's how I play fighting games too.
Yeah.
It's different with some games when you need the back buttons, but I prefer when I'm playing Tekken, I'm like this.
Yeah. No, I'm also this is gripping, and I'm just because I can reach the buttons quicker. It's faster inputs, at least for me.
And yeah, and what are you gonna do using just your thumb? You gotta press two buttons together at the same time. Tekken is big on pressing buttons together, especially. Yeah. So many fighting games, but especially Tekken because heaps of your normal moves are like that. So what are you gonna try that with just a thumb? Or are you going to try that with two fingers, which make it way easier to hit different combinations of buttons?
Well, it's funny.
It's a no-brainer for me.
It's funny you should say that because going from Street Fighter V to Street Fighter 6, what I'll do is I would... I don't know if I mapped it or it's just by default. So, face buttons are for kicks, light, medium, and then these buttons are heavies. But then what I'll do is on the other two, on the LB, whatnot, that's where I would have moves that require two buttons of the same type, two punch buttons held down, so I can do EX moves real quick. But with Street Fighter 6, those two buttons are reserved for a drive impact and parrying. So I had to reintroduce myself to, if I want to do an EX move, I have to tap the two buttons together at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good strat, mate. It's a solid strategy, Cotton, unless if it pays off for him. So it's a bold strategy.
Bold strategy,
Cotton. Shout out Jason Bateman.
Yeah, and shout out to Arrested Development. I want to finish that one day.
Oh, dude, it's great. And there's that when Netflix took it over and they did that new season and they did the show completely
out of order.
So how Arrested Development would work as a show? This is great. This is the Arrested Development section of the show. This is what everyone signed up for. Everyone's like, oh boy, I can't wait for him to talk about this show that finished probably 10 years ago. But they would give you you're following maybe 5 different characters and you get a little snippet of what's going on as it tells the story throughout the whole season, right, of each character. And when they did this Netflix one, they're like, oh, we're going to do an episode dedicated to each character instead. And the last one is going to be where all the stories converge. Who were like, that's not the formula of the show. So they recut and edited it. So it was regular episodes where you'd get the bits of those characters and their segments all in one episode that still built up to that finale. And it was actually way better. It was when they re-edited it, you're like, oh, this is great. I fucking love that show. It's an all-timer for me, man.
It was the Dragon Ball Kai of Arrested Development.
Arrested Development Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they changed Tobias blue for some reason. I don't know what that was about. It was not in the original.
He's just Mr. Popo. How they made him blue and Kai.
There was apparently a thing where they didn't want him to have a mustache because they were like, oh, try to do like facial hair for like comedy's sake is the laziest thing you can do. And he was like, David Cross was like, no, I want the mustache. And it fucking works, man. It just works. Tobias is that every single character is just great in their own right. Like, they all fucking suck. And even Jason Bateman's character, like, the whole time is like, he's the only one who tries, and he's the only one who, like, cares, but he ends up fucking things up for everyone way more because he tries and cares. And everyone else is just all out for themselves and just
like when he's meant to be supportive of the son, he's just like, oh, this is my my girlfriend Anne, and he's just like looks at her and he's like, even refers to her as bland in front of her, in front of him.
You know, it's hilarious, and very on brand for the character. They literally changed the actor, and nobody seemed to notice. It was a different actress for her than like the first season, I think, or whatever season she came up in. It was a much bigger role they gave her later, and the person they replaced her with, I didn't find out until recently, voiced Katara in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Was she also Roxy from Scott Pilgrim?
Yes, I think so. The one she was like, I was a little bi-curious. She's like, I'm a little bi-furious.
My favourite line from
That's a
her,
great quote.
My favourite quote from her is, looks like your BF's about to get effed in the B.
Yeah. I know as well, it's almost like kind of, by today's standards, it is millennial cringe, but when it came out, that was good shit. I feel like, I'm just realizing now, that movie is going to be like omega millennial cringe. This is going to be one of those ones that people are going to be like, this is where it began. Like this,
yeah.
Certain Marvel films. I loved Scott. I still actually do love Scott Pilgrim. It's good, you know, and the game. The 2D brawler is fucking excellent. I haven't played the new one, but the original one that was on the Xbox Arcade, oh, dude, excellent game. Played the fuck out of that with Hamish. Shout out.
Dude, when my PS3 like crapped itself, I was so mad because it came with, I had Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Shout out me and my boy Andre. We used to put in shifts playing that.
Andre, the regular heighted man.
Andre 1000. It had
lukewarm. You gotta call him that, Andre Lukewarm 1000.
I'm gonna do it. Scott Pilgrim versus the World and the HD like remaster of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Hell yeah. So, some banger games for sure.
Only two of them made their way onto like Steam and other consoles.
Truly tragic. Pour one out.
Yeah.
Pour one out for the games that couldn't make it. So, I've just realised, man, we're over half an hour in and we've only covered the first bullet point.
I blame it on Spyro.
It's good. Yeah, fuck you, Spyro. You classic game. I'm still looking forward to seeing what they do in this new one that's coming out, but because I only saw the flying, I'm still like real skeptical.
Cautiously curious.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm hopeful, but we'll see. We've got some more Steam news. So the Steam machine is shipping this summer, so there's no dates or prices, but it's finally happening. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be more than I actually want to spend. With all these RAM price increases, I think it's just going to be too expensive, which is unfortunate. Not that we're going to be able to get them here anyway. I still want a fucking Steam controller, man. I still want one, and still no third parties have them.
I think you need to message Gaben again.
I'll do it like the Eminem, like the Dear Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it like Stan.
Dear Gabe, I wrote to you, but you ain't called me back.
Yeah, just like that music video, man. If Gabe doesn't write me back, I'm gonna fucking kill my girlfriend.
Alex in the trunk.
She would go kicking and screaming, man. It would be hard. She would put up a fight. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I don't have that dog in me. But yeah, look, Gabe, you know what you have to do.
No parallel imports. You have a property here.
To be fair, if we can get parallel imports, I'll take them. Like at the moment, if you just try to find a third party one, it's like, yeah, 350 New Zealand dollars. You're like, fuck off, get the fuck out of here. So one day I will get to hold you in my soft hands.
Nah, I've got a better idea. Hamilton.
You're about to hear the worst idea.
Hamilton, known as like the steampunk capital of New Zealand, just bulldoze it, and then just make it like the steam-powered capital.
Okay, that was kind of good actually.
Yeah.
Steampunk, like I actually think I see steampunk and I think it's kind of cool, and then you meet the steampunk people and you go, that's less cool.
Yeah. It was like,
they're kind of like tech furries, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make sense? They kind of are. Like they want to wear their weird goggles and like they love brass and copper. Dude.
And like pocket watches.
Yeah. Dude, if steampunk didn't become a popular thing, our boy Jesse, he would have become a steampunk guy. You could see he was this close. He was this fucking close.
He was on the cusp.
Became too mainstream. Love that guy, but he loves a top hat. You know,
Yes.
you know the type of guy.
You see someone in steampunk garb and it's like, nice cosplay. Not hating. We're just having a laugh, but not hating. It's not for me.
No.
We appreciate people who put in a lot of effort into their get-ups, their gear. Not for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I still see it, and I'm like, I do see this is kind of cool. But I couldn't do it.
Nah, do you know what is cool? Fuck steampunk. Respectfully. What's cool is people who take up blacksmithing as a hobby, make their own like armors, and then go into like wrestling rings and just have fucking have bop offs.
So I knew a guy who used to work at the Palms. This guy Theo, unfortunate name to have a speech impediment and have the name Theo Griffiths. Really rough name with the worst lisp you've ever heard in your life, but the nicest guy, genuinely like a real sweetheart of a man, real good dude. But he used to live on the West Coast, and he said like his granddad or someone had a forge, so they spent an entire summer just making weapons and stuff, and then they decided like, we're gonna make our own chainmail. So they made the entire like their own fucking chainmail armor sets and shit like that. I was like, that's so fucking cool, man. I'm like, that fucking rules. Yeah, that guy was a legend. Rest in peace. Though. I think he's still alive. But yeah, I haven't seen him since I stopped working in the mall.
It's like
12 years ago.
blacksmithing and I like how there's
we just call them smithing now.
Oh, my bad.
You know,
I would say, what instead of like steampunk, it's like people really into smithing. Black punk.
Now we're talking.
No, but there's also been like what I've noticed, just a little bit of an increase in people doing blacksmithing and getting into HEMA, which is like historical East European martial arts. Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know about this HEMA shit. Interesting. HEMA's Homer?
The price of the PlayStation's going up.
Oh, it's a Dutch variety chain store known by relatively low pricing and generic household goods. Oh, great. They've got 750 stores. We love HEMA. We love the Dutch.
It's an acronym.
You're a fucking acronym. So anyway, yep, that's the Steam hardware's coming out. So Steam physical gift cards are being discontinued because Valve believes gift card scams remain a persistent problem despite years of anti-fraud measures. The existing Steam cards will still work, but new stock won't be produced and digital cards will become the only gift card option. Same with these Google Play cards. They've been used in scams and things as well. So as much as that sucks, because it's nice to receive a it's your birthday. Here's a $20 Steam gift card. Someone hands it to you. That's
Love it.
nice.
Love it.
But I understand if they will have all the data, and if they're like, man, let's say like just a number I'll pull out of my ass, $10 million a year of Steam credit is being used for being defrauded from people. You probably look at the analytics and you go, we should do something about this. Like I say, I pulled that number out of my ass. It could be more, it could be less. I've got no idea, but they didn't share those numbers.
True.
I get it.
True story. At work, we'd have a regular who would buy like Apple cards, and he'd buy so many, and then he's just like, someone's like, oh, so you buy a lot of these. What are these for? And he's just like, yeah, it's for my wife in America. And it's like, they're like, oh, yep. And it's just like, yeah, we're married and we have 2 kids. Yep. And it's like, we've never met though in person. It's like, oh, how does that work?
What do you mean when you say you've never met, but you say we have 2 kids?
Yeah.
What do you... Damn. Someone's getting scammed.
Yup.
So Summer Game Fest was recently, as some of you may know. Some of you may be aware. Some of you may have listened to the previous episode of Side Quest. Nailed it. Boom. Remembered the name of our own fucking show. So the highest amount of wishlisted games post-show, I just wanted to talk about that. So this isn't just overall all the wishlists these games have. This is how many wishlists they received after the show. Some of the games only became available to wishlist on Steam as they aired on the show, but let's go through them. So the top 10. It's 10. Nice. Number 10. With 182,000, the horror game coming out, which looks fucking great. Like, not a horror game guy. Dude, we actually got 3 horror games. But, actually 4 technically. Yeah. I don't know why I say technically. But yes, massive. The game looks amazing and disgusting.
Unnerving.
Great to see. Yeah. With 2,000 more than with 184,000. Just one that surprised me. Saw Genesis.
Interesting.
Didn't think their trailer looked that remarkable, to be honest. But I'm interested to see what they do because 3v1 horror. Yeah.
It also could be that. So with Saw, the last one like in the timeline was Saw 3D. And then they released, I don't know about Jigsaw, I never watched that. And then they had the latest movie they put out, and that was...
Jigsaw, this motherfucker doing puzzles? Cringe.
This one takes place sometime before 3D. But then they had the movie Spiral with Chris Rock, which apparently is god-awful. So... I reckon there's an appetite for like the sort of torture puzzle games, but also this is the closest thing people are getting to like a new Saw movie.
I didn't even know about this fucking Spiral
Good.
movie.
Consider yourself blessed.
Samuel Jackson is in it as well. How do you make this so average? It's 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, which look, to be fair, 75% from, audience. It's all right. Also, I gotta say, I do like Chris Rock.
So do I. And Samuel L. Jackson.
Dude, I love Samuel L. Jackson. That's my dude right there. I told you as well, whenever I've caught a plane with my mum, she always brings fucking snake lollies, every time. To go, oh, snakes on a plane.
Bless her.
It's a fucking stupid bit that she does every time, and I'm like, yeah, keep committing to the bit for fucking the next 15 years, mum. Go on, just keep doing it. You've done it for 15 years already. Why the fuck not? But I do actually appreciate it. It's a funny little thing she does. So yeah, shout out to Samuel Jackson. What a guy. But yes, we'll see. We'll see how this game does. Next game, another horror game, another 1,000 wish list, 185k. Alien Isolation 2. Like, I'm really surprised that this Saw game's got like as many as these other horror games that look amazing. But I think this Dead by Daylight, I guess, is just so popular. Right? And I hope this Saw game's great. By the way, I do. But none of these other ones that aren't Dead by Daylight have done particularly well. Like the Evil Dead one did okay, then died. Friday the 13th did okay for a bit and died. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, same thing. So, I guess horror fans have been wanting, like horror movie fans have probably been wanting stuff like this for ages. So, yeah, but Alien Isolation 2, which looks great. People have been wanting that for a long, long time. The original got like really mixed reviews, but it got this massive cult following, and a lot of people swear by it's one of the best horror games of all time. So, why the fuck not? Next game, Hex, that Haex. I think this was the one. This one that had the cube that just kind of spawned out of an alien cube thing that spawned a bigger cubes.
Spawned those big like granite-looking monoliths. Yeah,
visually, I must say, this game looks exceptional. It looks really, really cool. Oh, that's right, Dead Astronauts, which I am apparently the only person thinks that name's real fucking cool for a studio. I'm like, that's awesome.
I think it's neat.
It's a Simpsons reference. DT. Yeah, I think visually it looks great. I mean, it's a survival game from what they've said, so not really my thing, but I think this has a lot of potential. It looks really, really good, and clearly a lot of other people think so too. And I hate that I keep saying this. I'm realizing, but starting to become more and more aware. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see more. The next game, so that's 192k. I'm not sure. Oh, dude, I skipped over one. No, fuck. This is on brand. This goes hand in hand with being a Ubisoft hater. I skipped over Assassin's Creed Black Flag Recent. Accidental. That's got 191k. It's a remake, so I find it less interesting generally anyway. Right? That's fine. It is of what many would say is the best Assassin's Creed game. Next game with 222,000. Nice there. 222. Crossfire. I do think this game looks quite interesting and has a lot of potential. Is
this the one that's got the adaptive sneaking?
Yeah, and the adaptive cover. And then it's got, one of the from the boys. It's got one of the girls from The Boys. I think as well the story seems interesting in this. I think this is definitely worth. It's got a lot of ex-Naughty Dog people that were working on it. Yeah, I think this is worth keeping an eye on. Finally, some Lewis-coded slop. Lords of the Fallen 2, 227,000. So the highly anticipated Souls-like game. This one is a Souls-like, just for the record. I think the reason why this got so many wish lists as well is because, which turns out I hadn't actually wish listed it yet, I have now, is because it was not supposed to be getting a Steam release. It was just going to be an Epic Store release in console, and then they got out of their Epic exclusivity. They've still thanked Epic a lot for the help they've had along the way with it and on the Unreal Engine and so on. But yes, I think this game looks great, and now should be day one-ing it. Next game was made by the original game director, I believe, of Assassin's Creed, 1666 Amsterdam. So there's the third-person action game that Witchcraft, which from the trailer I do think looks very good. It does look very Assassin's Creed, but I think this game's got heaps of potential. So we'll have to see. Apparently that prologue is just kind of a walking simulator, so I'm not interested in that. Like, sure, you get a bit of lore in that, so that's cool.
I'm not surprised that that's a little bit lower on the list of wish lists, because it's like original guy who did Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed for a long time was just known as like annual slop.
Yeah, so I think people have been longing for this kind of thing as well because people are over Assassin's Creed, but they still want something that made them, feel like they did when they played the original ones. So it's the third highest spot. Next one with 496k wish list, Guild Wars 3.
Interesting.
I did think the little bit they showed, I'm like, this could be good. I think if you can release an MMO that actually has faster paced kind of combat and movement and stuff, I think I'd be a lot more interested if it can be more fluid than the average MMO, which is just slow and clunky, which by design, MMO players love that shit. Yeah, I think it looked good, and I like how consumer friendly Guild Wars. I mean, who makes Guild Wars again? Do you remember? They've got pretty iconic.
Guild Wars 2 was developed by ArenaNet. And
ArenaNet, of course.
Published by NCSoft.
That makes sense. Yeah. So, a lot of potential there as well. Good if you're an MMO fan and don't want to just keep paying a subscription. And we started with 3 horror games and we end with a horror game. 803,000 wish list. Resident Evil Veronica.
Not surprised. Surprised.
Many people say this should have been a numbered Resident Evil game all along back in the day. Very essential for a lot of lore with a lot of these Resident Evil fans. Yeah. Massive. Capcom doing what Capcom do.
Capcom
putting out
killing
high
it.
quality games. Yeah. Capcom, give it to you. Yeah. So those are the big games that people have wish listed from the showcase.
Good shit.
There's a rumor going around that Shovel Knight 3D is late in development. So if this is true, hopefully we should see it next year. I don't think Yacht Club games are going to have the same issue that we had with like Super Meat Boy 3D, where they're like struggled to transition from 2D to 3D and they just made the same thing but worse. I think that Edmund McMillan has the sauce, and then without him, Super Meat Boy, we got one good game, and then we've got a shitty little puzzle game, and we got an auto runner, and we got Super Meat Boy 3D. He was the guy with the sauce, and I think that the Yacht Club still have the sauce. Vita the Hollower was excellent. Definitely had a couple of flaws, but I really, really do love that game, and I think that 3D Shovel Knight is going to be great, but I don't think it's going to be as good as the OG Shovel Knight. I think that game is like quite possibly perfect. I really do adore it, but I hope it's good. If it is real, they said years ago this was always their plan. Have you played Shovel Knight?
I played it very little bit. I still need to actually give it a proper shake.
It's so good. Truly is perfection.
But also, I feel like, from what I've seen, 3D Shovel Knight will be an easier transition from 2D. It's a little bit hard with Super Meat Boy, where it's a to the pixel precision platformer, and going off what you said, it's like the teams who make it, the Super Meat Boys after the original, it's like, we really, really love this IP, but we can't do it justice no matter how hard we try.
Yeah. It's kind of like how this might be like a Mario to Sonic kind of thing, right? Look at well Mario transitioned to 3D, and look how poorly Sonic did by comparison, right? I don't think every 3D Sonic is awful, but dude, if you go play Sonic 2 or Sonic Sonic Mania, and then you play like Sonic Heroes or something, you're like, man, this 2D shit is bussin'. Nobody says that anymore.
my main issue with 3D Sonic is Sonic 1, I mean the 2D ones, I've got a soft spot for Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Um, it was pretty thrilling trying to go from one side of the map to the end, collecting rings, going through loop-de-loops. Apart from the occasional waiting for a platform to come closer, the game is pretty like fast, and you're moving more often than not. What I didn't care for in the 3D one is they could have done what initially what Generations did, where it's like, yes, it's a 3D game, but it's still side scrolling, at least with the chubby Sonic. The problem with the 3D ones is I don't like, instead of running from side to side, I am running forward. Occasionally, the camera will rotate. I'm still running forward, and I do not like, and I have never liked the, I'm going to jump, there's an enemy. Oh, I lock on, spin, bounce, lock onto this one, lock onto this one, lock onto this one.
Yeah. What's interesting about that is, even though I still didn't like it, that worked way better in 2D when they did those. Was it 2 or 3 parts of like Sonic 4 or whatever, the 2D one that had the lock-on targeting?
Not sure.
As much as I didn't love that, it actually worked better in 2D than 3D.
In my opinion, underrated franchise, Sonic franchise, Sonic Advance for Game Boy Advance.
I fucking knew you were going to say that. I fucking knew it. Yeah, they're good, man. They're actually good. Also had a massive modding scene as well. Yeah. Huge.
Yeah. Sick. Like, the sprite work was great. You got, like, Amy with her hammer. They added a new character, Cream the Rabbit. That sounds naughty. Knuckles.
Don't do it.
And then you had Sonic I think it was called just Sonic Battle, where it was just, it was a fighting game. But you had this little robot, and you do these fights, and they're like, I'll teach you this move. I'll give you this card, which is a move of mine. And you'd load it into this robot. Man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, I played it, I think, on an emulator when I was a kid.
Same. I remember there was a Game Boy Advance magazine where this kid posted in, it's like, no one could beat my time at Sonic Advance 2 in this zone. And I was like, whatever, fucking nerd. And then it's just like, gotta go fast, land on some spikes, lose my rings. It's like, this kid can have his victory.
Yeah, you can't win them all, mate.
Yeah, happy for you, but fuck you, little pencil neck dork.
Yeah, little bitch. I'm going to shove you in a locker. I bet you watch Grey's Anatomy, bitch.
Yeah. I'm more of a private practice man, but these days.
Each their own, I guess. So, we've got another rumour. Ubisoft is rumoured to be closing down more studios. There's an estimated 380 jobs to be lost coming up. And studios that may be closed would be Ubisoft Winnipeg and I'm just going to say Belgrade. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Belgrade. I don't know, mate. I don't know. It might be French.
That's it.
Yeah.
Back to Winnipeg.
Back to Winnipeg. That's a Simpsons reference. Yeah. So, as much as I hate seeing people losing jobs, I think for this whole Ubisoft restructure, it kind of needs to happen. Like I say, the alternative is like either some people lose some jobs or Ubisoft ceases to exist. And I think that this is the better outcome, unfortunately. It would be great if neither, didn't have to go with either of these two options. I think that's where they're at after they lost over hemorrhaged over €1 billion or something last year. It might have been even closer to 1.5. It's fucked. It's more money would see in it. I don't know how many fucking lifetimes, So, gotta do it. They were too bloated anyway. What was it? They had over 26,000 employees or something like that at one stage. I may have butchered that, but it was a lot of employees. So EA introduces advertising, launching brands directly into gameplay experiences. So I think this is not the only story I have regarding something like this in a studio and a team wanting to do this. Essentially, it seems like of them putting ads in your games. However, they've showed it off with sports games. And to be quite honest, if you've ever watched sports, it's really not that bad of a thing. Like, watch the UFC in the middle of the round, they're like, Toyo Tires, the official sponsor of the UFC. You're like, or the official tire of the UFC, and you go, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up, cunt. These guys are fighting. I think that's egregious, but if you look at these games and you're looking in like the Octagon, you'll see the sponsors, or you're looking at a soccer game, for example, football, if you're that way inclined. You'll see like the sponsors and everything, and I assume it's going to be, for now, it's going to get worse. They're going to do something fucking egregious. You're going to play the new Battlefield game, and you're going to have, I don't know, fucking Doritos on the side of your gun or some shit, like, which is more of a Call of Duty thing, let's be honest. But you know, but I just think this is a way for them to do it in these sports games where they can get paid and they have official sponsorships and they're just like the real sports. In this form, which I know will get worse and it will be a slippery slope, I'm okay with it, but I know that they're going to take the piss at some point.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Well, I think it would look kind of fun if there was like, say, basketball or like a wrestling game where they have those running like around the arena. They have those little video like straps, if you know what I mean. Or even on like basketball, like on the big scorekeeping thing, they have like ads running on that. It'd be funny if you're playing on PlayStation, it just says advertisements for upcoming games for coming to PS5. Like,
I guess that'd have to be more if it was like a Sony thing than like an EA thing. However, if it's like I say, a sports game doing that, I really don't have that much of a problem with that. To be like, you see the scrolling banner ad,
yeah,
it's just like Ghost of Yotei out now or whatever, or
I would,
yeah, like I think it is just going to be who's going to take the piss. Like, you could do this with like I don't think Rockstar would do this, but could you imagine their radio stations have actual fucking ads that they're getting paid for? I guess the problem is, normally, right, if it's an actual radio, that ad goes out, you've got 100,000 listeners, you're getting 100,000 people to hear that ad at once. However, this is going to be one person, and it's all going to add up, but it's not actually like a real broadcast.
No.
You know what I mean? Is that harder for them to track? Maybe they'll have telemetry that they can be like, 1 billion people fucking, that's an absurd amount, but 1 billion people heard that ad. I don't know.
What I would get annoyed at is, say you're playing like your NBA or whatnot, and you're they do like a replay. It's like, this replay is brought to you by like Rocket Money or like some YouTubian fucking sponsorships. This is brought to you by Fume.
Imagine if like, the NBA games did that with like State Farm. Oh, they did that. They literally put the Jake from State Farm from the ads in the fucking game. And you know what? That was Take Two. That wasn't even EA. That was the guys that own Grand Theft Auto, that own Rockstar. It was them.
Hey, it's just like sort of off track, but I love shout out to Fred Durst for his contract for, if he is in a game or if they use any of his music in a game or in like an anime, it's in his contract. So if you do use Limp Bizkit, I have to appear in the video game or the anime.
Yeah, he was in like a wrestling game and all sorts of...
Oh, dude, it was essentially like Undertaker had Rollin' as his theme for a bit, and he was in like multiple different wrestling games, like one which was for PC. He was in like a SmackDown game. I was like, I respect that.
Hear me out. Undertaker, iconic, great wrestler. Limp Bizkit, Rollin', iconic, love it, banger. Those two do not mesh together, man. It should have been like someone, and I'm not saying because this guy specifically, but someone like a Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like, I know he's not really like a redneck, but a kind of like a redneck kind of guy I think would have suited better, because Undertaker, his whole thing later was like that ominous music and stuff, and you hear like the storm like crashing through, and I think that suited better. I'm not even a wrestling guy, but you know.
Not so much these days, but the whole thing was like when he debuted, he was like an Undertaker. He was like dark and gloomy, and then there hit a period where he was just like, yeah, I want to still be known as like the Dead Man, the Undertaker. It's like, but I kind of want to be a little bit more human with it. I want to be more authentic. Ride motorcycles, wear red bandanas, and yeah.
Okay. Time and place, I guess. Yeah. Because what are that? I guess it was when Limp Bizkit was big, so probably what, early 2000s or something.
Yeah, like, also 2001, 2003.
Yeah, at latest mid 2000s. So, yeah, I guess it kind of checks out. Dude, they used to have wrestlers used to have the fucking most banger songs, as their fucking intros. Walkout songs were so cool. It's like, yeah, we're gonna have. One of them had. I think it wasn't actually a wrestler's theme, but they had the Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson.
That was at the time the official theme of one of their shows, SmackDown.
Yeah, that riff goes so fucking hard, and I tell you what, I was so bad at guitar when I played, but I could play that riff. That's how fucking easy it is to play. It sounds great.
Like,
it's iconic.
Marilyn Manson's like weird dude. Got some allegations or whatnot against him, but it's like the Beautiful People slaps.
Dude had like so many good songs and then just fell off so hard. I don't think he's had a good song in like fucking 10, 15 years. Like, they'll like play the stuff on the radio now, which they never did in the past, and you're like, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, this is Marilyn Manson. This sucks.
I remember when it was years ago they released like the song Heart-Shaped Glasses. Like, oh, new Marilyn Manson track? Let's check it out. And I was like, boo! That's not heavy.
Yeah. As well, I liked an album that a lot of OG Marilyn Manson fans don't like, that Golden Age of Grotesque, but I think that was probably the last one I liked. They had that song on like a fucking Ford ad or something, that Dole Dagger Buzz Buzz Ziggity Zag. They had that on a fucking car ad, and then it's like, oh, the stuff's not really that edgy anymore, is it? When Ford or someone is using this on a fucking ad, like.
No, I can tell you something edgier than that. I want to say it was like maybe Hush Puppies or Hannah's, some shoe company. They had pumped up kicks in their advertisements.
Did they not? Because for a long time, people didn't really know what that song was about.
Do
you think that was it?
Absolutely.
I know, like, because it was a really popular, like, upbeat song, and then people were like, "Wait a second, the song's about what?" I don't think people knew. Like, I know there's a whole thing, like, people try to rewrite history with this stuff. Like, everybody always knew. Like, everybody always knew that Starship Troopers was satire. And you look at the reviews, and out of, like, I don't actually know how many, but let's say out of 100 reviews, two of them understood it was satire. But it was a tiny, tiny amount. So people reviewed it like, oh, it's a really dumb movie that's all about being macho and stuff. It's like, well, then you fell for the satire. Like, that's what it is. I actually think this is the thing. This is what happens a lot. You make a satire that's too good that the wrong people enjoy it, and then the creators get mad, like with The Boys, and then they're like, oh, nah, season 4 of The Boys, we need you to know that we were making fun of you. And then it's like, oh, you made the worst season of the show. Like, you need to sometimes just be like, the satire is good, it's working.
I'm pretty sure that's also like why a lot of people felt alienated and did not like the sequel to Joker. Is because I'm pretty sure the director was like, too many people are identifying with the Joker and are missing the message. Let's make the second one a musical. And a bunch of people
let's
like,
make it crap. Yeah, it's just really stupid. Like, American Psycho and Fight Club are movies that. So actually, when I first watched American Psycho, I was quite young. I didn't get it, and I was too stupid. I was like, this movie sucks. Fight Club I liked for all the wrong reasons when I was younger. And now I like it for the right reasons. I actually think that it is a great movie through either lens, you know? And Fight Club's not a satire, but it is like one of those things of, yeah, treat these macho meathead-like people to it. But then you also get, not like doing the myself an intellectual, because I'm not, I'm a fucking idiot, but there is more to it than just men fighting. You know, like
there was a Reddit AMA on some dude, and someone was like, "What's your and the guy wasn't particularly smart, and the someone else was like, "What's your favorite?" I think he might have been a wrestler. It was like, "What's your favorite movie?" And it's like, "Fight Club," and then the person was like, "Okay, what do you think Fight Club's about?" And he's like, "It's about standing tall and having your morals and standing face to face with adversity." And the next reply is like, "I don't think you understood the film at all. Sorry."
I think though, if you make something, I know as well, it's pretentious of like, everything is art. This is art. That is art. But the thing about art is you taking away your own experience from that piece of art. And I think that is what makes art good and interesting, is just, you know, the thing about maths is that if you do it right, you get the same answer every time, right? I'm way more of a mathematical than an arty person, even though I'm also bad at maths, but I am wired much more for exact things than, you know, like writing a fucking essay. I couldn't do it in high school. I tell you what, I can't do it fucking now. So, but I love that about these kind of things that can be interpreted in multiple ways. And like, I think it's neat. Simpsons reference. Yeah. So as much as yes, they were wrong, and the artist will dislike that this person was wrong about their art. You know, but it's the whole death of the author thing, right? You can take away whatever you like and however it made you feel, and you can be wrong, and that's okay. But that's how it made you feel.
Speaking of feeling,
Paramount has cancelled their Avatar: The Last Airbender open world game. It sounds like they are still saying, we've got more things coming out, Avatar: The Last Airbender, but... So the voice actor of Uncle Iroh had this to say: Nickelodeon will never hire me again anyway, so why not drop a truth bomb? I reiterate, Paramount doesn't care about Avatar: The Last Airbender. He went on a big fucking rant on Twitter about it and said he's like, I've worked all these different jobs and I've never seen the way, like, this is paraphrasing, but the way that they treat this IP, like, it is really sad. Because it's such a great franchise, and if it wasn't mishandled in every single fucking step of the way, everywhere, it would be so much bigger. It has so much potential to be massive. The original series is so well written. It has one of the best redemption arcs for a character ever. Like, genuinely, I really think... I know technically it's not an anime, because it's Western writing, but with Eastern animation, which I actually think is the best combination, to be quite honest. Yeah, I think it's excellent, and it's just a shame it's been mishandled time after time.
Damn.
Shit sucks.
Yeah.
Fumito Ueda, the creator of Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian, is finally back with a new game. We've seen it. Gen Atlas, which was the one that showed off the big robots and the small robots in the desert.
A lot
and
of
so on. It looks really
tone.
interesting. Yeah, dude, bring back the piss filter. That's what I'm saying. It does have a lot of Shadow of the Colossus energy from the trailer. So yeah, the only problem is it's an Epic Store exclusive on PC.
Yeah. Also, you're the only.
This will be the thumbnail.
You're the only person I've met who pronounced the first game like that.
Ico?
Yeah, everyone I've talked to, they're like Ico, and I was like, I'm not sure that's how it's pronounced, but what do I know?
I've heard it pronounced Eco by some nerds. So yeah. Also, Eco was one of the main inspirations, other than of course Berserk, for Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
Dang.
Hidetaka Miyazaki fucking loves Eco. That was actually how he was playing Eco and was like at a friend's house, started playing it and was just like, I have to go, and left his friend's house and started like learning about game development. That was he fucking left in the middle of playing the game. It was like, I know what I have to do.
I was like
and
that. No problem. Like, I need to go.
Yeah, he just puts the controller down and just walks out and leaves. But one of the most important, and I mean, I'm biased, but one of the most important game developers in the last like 20 years, to be honest. Like, love or hate Souls likes. It feels like we don't get new genres particularly often.
Yeah,
you have to make something pretty iconic and groundbreaking, and that.
Do you know what
he did a lot of it with not a lot of budget.
I imagine what they called Souls-like before it had a term was just too hard. Difficult game.
And we just called them hard third-person action RPGs. Now they're their own thing. So yeah, as much as I'm not a massive fan of the Fumito Ueda games personally, I still actually do need to play Shadow of the Colossus. I have a lot of respect and a lot of appreciation for his work, and his art direction is incredible. Like, it's some of the best in gaming, just period. I think his art direction is fucking outstanding. So yes, I'm very interested in seeing how this game turns out, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully it comes to Steam eventually. Mina the Hollower has sold over 500,000 units. So they had said essentially like, yeah, if we sell 100,000 units, we're in big trouble. If we sell 200,000, we're all right. We sell 500,000, hell yeah, brother, gamer time. I can't remember what he said, but it was that was essentially their metrics for success, and they've hit the 500,000 units, so they can continue as a studio. But it was 200,000 was the bare minimum essentially they needed to sell to be able to carry on to keep making games. Yeah, I should see how many copies did Hollow Knight sell. How many? If you were to guess, Stephen, how many copies of Silk Song do you think so?
1 million.
You idiot! You fool! You Neanderthal! How could you guess so low, Stephen?
Okay.
How could you get
one more? 6 million.
That's actually way closer. So as of 6 months ago, it sold over 7 million copies. We don't know right now how many exactly, but yeah, pretty crazy. And the first Hollow Knight sold over 15 million. That's fucking crazy. As much as I really like Hollow Knight, and I do like Silk Song, Shovel Knight, I just thought was way better. I love that shit, but come on, man. Shovel Knight, that's my fucking shit. That shit rules. Mina the Hollower, I think I preferred more than over Silk Song. I don't know why I'm holding my microphone this way. I do think I preferred Mina the Hollower than Silk Song. I think Silk Song's highs were higher, but its lows were much lower for me. Yeah, 500k for an indie game, small team, cool. By their own metrics, that's successful. That's great.
Also, I just want to quickly inject this in here. It's not video game related, but it's a nice viewpoint on things. Piracy. So, the creator of the manga Dr. Stone, Boichi, has said this in regards to Piracy. Pirated manga readers are not our opponents. They are future audience. This is proof that their demand already exists.
It is a positive spin on it. And look, at the end of the day, right? If you like something and you shouldn't pirate it, and look, I know I've already told my Shovel Knight story before, and
that's a success story though.
I pirated it and I played it and it was like, that was great. Second time I wanted to play it, I pirated it again because I'm a massive piece of shit. I played it again. I thought, that was great. I wanted to play it a third time, like another 6 months later. It's like, just buy the game, cunt. What are you doing? It was just always slightly more than I wanted to pay, and it got more expensive when they added more content. And I'm just like, you could have saved yourself another $20, you cheap cunt. Like, this was a long time ago. I'm not that man
He's a changed
anymore.
man.
But yes, I mean, they turned me into it, and I'm like, this is one of my favorite games of all time. It's my, at the minimum, top 20, probably my top 10. It'd be hard because it's like fighting against every fucking From Software game. Well, every Souls-like they've made, at least. See, Kingsfield, I haven't played Kingsfield. But I would like to. So yes, Iron Maiden did a similar thing a long time ago, and they were like, oh, which countries pirate a lot of our albums? And they found their albums were highly pirated in Russia and Eastern Bloc and stuff. So like, yeah, we're going to play a bunch of shows in Russia. And they made fucking bank. So it can be a useful tool sometimes. And if it's good, you will get people that will eventually go, I should buy this. I'm not saying that, this is always a good approach, but yeah, if you take it on the right way, then yeah, you could convert people into buying.
There's something to learn. Like, people don't pirate stuff because they think it's shit. They pirate it because either, I don't know, lazy, money's tight, have no other alternative of acquiring. So it's like,
yeah,
there's demand there.
Looking at you, Nintendo, if they made more of their games accessible to buy, they're like, oh, we've got these old games that we haven't brought forwards. Oh, well, guess we better do nothing with it, but don't pirate it. And you're like, you'd rather I spend $300 on a second-hand version? No, fuck you. Like, you bring it upon yourself at a certain point. Not these guys have, but Nintendo, I do believe, have with so many of these things. Just repack them and put them on the eShop and sell them for $20 and make good money, like, off them. If you're not doing anything with them, it's different with like Ocarina of Time, where it's like, okay, it's a big game, and they're like, of course now they're remaking it, but I don't know. I think with the Zelda Game Boy games, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, I think they should bring those if they haven't already. I think they might have actually bring them to Nintendo Switch Online, possibly. Ones like that, let people buy these outright if they can't already. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong on this one. I need to look into that further.
Or they can physically re-release them at a full market price.
Yeah, they could do, but I'd love to see those for $20 a piece or something. May as well make money on these things that you haven't been making money on in a long time.
Or they could be somewhat generous and release Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on the eStore for like $30.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy how people complained about that too. Like, people complained. They were like, oh, they released this for too much money. I was like,
how much was it when you
played my Fire Red?
Yeah.
But I paid like $33 for it. I'm like, cool. Sweet. Happy to spend that to at least be like, hey, keep doing this. We want this. It's not an absurd amount of money. It was probably $20 US, I imagine.
And it was, I imagine, more expensive when you were buying a physical cartridge.
Yeah, I think back in the day, Pokemon games weren't $100. I think a lot of the handheld ones, but they were probably about 80 New Zealand dollars. So, they were 2.5 times the price they are now, and with inflation and everything, probably almost 3 times. So, yeah, it's really not that bad. $33 for that. ArenaNet has confirmed that Guild Wars 3 will not have a battle pass or a monthly subscription. So the studio lead, Colin
Jonathan?
Johansson.
Jonathan?
Bro, we're illiterate.
It's probably
We're
pronounced
illiterate. You know what's
Johansson.
funny? I don't know if I've actually seen the last name Johansson. Like, I mean, sure, I must have seen it. Is Scarlett Johansson spelled the same way? I don't know. But yeah, my brain just wanted to keep saying Johnson, and I'm like, no, there's another one, and there's another character in there.
Johansson.
Johansson. Said, this is the idea. Studio lead Colin Johansson. Boom, now one and done. Use take two. Said the team does not want to keep people hostage with systems that make players feel like they have to log in every day or pay every month to keep up.
Based.
100% agree.
Based.
This is great. I love that. This was my problem with Apex Legends. I loved Apex Legends. I was playing it all the time. But once I had the battle pass, I felt pressure to keep playing it, and I burnt myself out on it. There's a chance I might have still kept playing Apex Legends if the battle pass wasn't timed. I would have been like, oh yeah, I'll play at my own pace. I'll play a couple nights a week. But I felt like I was having to play 5 nights a week to just get the battle pass done. And it fucking killed my desire to play the game. Like, you could potentially make more money by taking this approach. You might not. You might make less money. I don't know. I'm terrible at business. But I love this approach. And this is making me so much more interested in seeing what they do with Guild Wars 3. I'm not an MMO guy. I'm not the target audience. So it probably doesn't mean anything to be like, I'm more interested, because I still might not play. But, yeah, I've got my eye on them. I like what ArenaNet's doing. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully you guys have massive success with this one.
And not weaponizing FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. You dabbled a little bit at the second one.
I remember I bought it, and it was back in the day where no monthly subscriptions. You buy the game one and done. And I remember playing it with a friend. I'll try out different races, tried out the grass people, and I was like, oh, this isn't really sticking. I played as I think it might have been like a tiger race, but my mate was also playing the tiger race, and he was getting so mad. I'm pretty sure my character's account was called Dunhill Switch. Yeah, and he was getting so mad because when he was trying to talk to an NPC, my character just kept on jumping over his character, and he's like, "What are you doing that?" I was like, "I'm asserting dominance. We're cat people. I'm asserting dominance. But if you're allowing yourself to get jumped over by me, you are the baby. You are the beta." And he just got mad at me. But then the third time I tried a different race, chose little small guys, and they were like the class. Their class was the class I chose was quite techy. Like they would be able to jump into a mech suit. They'll be able to chuck down turrets, and I was almost going to give up on this game. I eventually did, but this race, this little guy and this little mech, it's like, I like this. This is the play style I am enjoying.
Hell yeah, yeah. So it might be worth checking out closer to release anyway. So we got to see some crazy taxi. Bit of that, and based on everything the Sega developers have said so far about the use of Jedi and Jedi. Dude, I did the Forrest Gump. No, Jedi. Yes. Oh, dude, that's so fucking good. Jedi, the use of Jedi. So they said Jedi was used during development. AI was used for reference and background asset work. Human developers reviewed and recreated the final assets. AI voices or AI performers were not used. So all the voices and everything are actual voice actors. AI generated NPC conversations have not been announced currently. So we don't know yet if they have done the voice lines written by AI or not. We don't know. But yes. So So where I don't have an issue with this is depending how they use it. If they had their own closed loop AI and they fed all their Crazy Taxi art to it from every Crazy Taxi game and said, hey, generate us some new art based off what we've fed you, I don't really have an issue with that. It's based off their own assets. It's different if it's like, okay, just give us some, rip off some other artist on, places. It just depends. We might never know how they've done it. So for some people, it'll just be a safe bet for them to say, no, I'm not touching this because it has Gen AI, therefore it may have, it may be going against my internal code of conduct, which is completely fine. Like, if that's what you believe and how you feel, that's completely fine. You're justified. So, just skimming over to make sure I haven't got any work messages because I'm paranoid because Teams is fucking dog shit. Yeah, so I don't actually have an issue with, because that's how I read into how they've done this. And it may not be the case.
And it's not like they're doing generating using their own resources and being like, cool, slapping that here. It's, we're generating this as a reference point.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, interesting. Okay, let's make that into a thing. They've also said they are going to use like real places. It's going to be, take me to Pizza Hut, stuff like that. So they'll be obviously getting paid a little bit of ad money and so on as well. But people want that in Crazy Taxi. But like the guys on Sacred Symbols have like a joke of like, take me to Raytheon, like the weapons manufacturer, stuff like that. And it'll be such a funny idea of just like, yeah, just these abhorrent like companies as well. Take me to Nestle. I just think that's a hilarious. Like, take me to Boeing. Fun idea, but yeah, I'm probably not going to play it anyway because the idea of Crazy Taxi I find so fucking one-dimensional and boring.
Same.
I think it's charming. I think with the use of the music and everything, the art I think is really, really nice. But I think it's very one-dimensional.
They had that Simpsons Crazy Taxi clone on Game Boy Advance, and I was just like, oh, I pick people up, I take them to their destination in a certain amount of time. I was like, there's the game loop, not for me.
Yeah, and I think it's a little more exciting in The Simpsons as well. And it's like, oh, I've got to take Lenny to work at the nuclear power plant. I've got to take Krusty the Clown to the set of, what was this TV show?
Krusty the Clown.
The name? Is it just called Krusty the Clown?
I think it's just called Krusty the Clown.
Right. Yeah. God, what an unoriginal cunt. Fuck you, Krusty.
Now play classical gas.
Did you hear the original idea for Krusty the Clown was that it was going to be Homer?
Really?
The idea was that it was Bart absolutely adores Krusty the Clown, but dislikes his dad, and this whole thing. But then they decided, no, we don't. We want him to be his own thing.
That's cool.
Which I think was a good idea in the long run. So we will see. But speaking of Gen AI, so Hideo Kojima had said that he was like interested in Gen AI, and he said he's no longer interested in Gen AI. And he said, art is life, but in 50 years, 100 years, I don't know, maybe AI could create art. But while I live, I don't think I'll see it. I'm not interested in it. Which is, I say, fair enough. I'm happy with either perspective on this. I think there's also a lot of clever people that see differently, and I think there's a lot of clever people who see it this way. And I was surprised when Hideo Kojima said he was interested in it, because I thought he's a very out there creative person. I don't think, there's the whole thing with like you give with an unlimited amount of time and monkeys with typewriters, they'll eventually write Shakespeare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's infinite possibilities of what will come up. I don't think that you could, let's say Metal Gear Solid didn't exist. No fucking way AI is coming up with Metal Gear Solid, bro. That shit is whack. Only Hideo Kojima could have come up with Metal Gear Solid. No one else on Earth could have done that.
No one else could
So
think of
many-
a scantily clad lady called Silent or Quiet who breathes through her skin.
Yeah, look, just say you're a gooner, bro. It's fine. It's fine. just let us know. But yeah, but for all of it, and look, I'm not even a Metal Gear guy overall, but there's shit in there that's just so iconic and so unapologetically Kojima. Someone might have been able to come up with a third of the idea. Okay, not even that. Let's say 20% of the ideas, sure.
I also like the idea of
But
like
no one
no
would have come up with all of them and bundled into one game. Like, there's a fat man whose whole thing is like, I think the lore of him is that he built, like, as a child, built a nuclear bomb in his bedroom. Also, somehow got the enriched uranium, all of that, whatever, right? But is large, so to get around, it's easier for him to get around on roller skates, shit like that. You're like, what the fuck is this shit, bro? It's just wild.
I like the idea of Quiet. It's like some big fan is like explaining to their partner, like to their girlfriend, it's like, no, it's not perfect. It's like by design. It's like she wears like next to no clothes because she breathes through her skin. The girlfriend's just like, shut up.
I'm pretty sure Gammy did really like try to argue that. No, it's not because he's like that. It's because she breathes through her skin. We're like, shut up.
Yeah,
bro.
shut up.
You fucking gooner. You fucking gooner. Shut up.
We all just point at them, like all of us in a circle. They're just on the ground like this. Is like, you're horny.
Horny on Maine. I got an old account for that shit. So we got some bad news. Nagoshi Studio, co-founded by director, I think it's pronounced Daisuke Sato, or they say Daisuke, but I don't think that's how you pronounce it. Has updated his Twitter profile with ex Nagoshi Studio. So unfortunately, Gang of Dragon may be completely dead, which is a real shame because that trailer was awesome, and I wanted to play or watch someone play as the big beefy boy.
Let him just.
That actor's awesome.
Let him have.
He's great. He looks.
Let him have a role in the next Yakuza game.
I don't think he will because I think they're going to be very separate because he went a separate way to make Yakuza without RGG, you know? So I don't think it's going to happen. I still hope that someone will come along thinking Sony and fund the game, but I don't think it's going to happen while having a playoff people, which I will mention very soon. We've got the Nintendo data breach. So this one was like over 800 megabytes data. That's nothing, bro. There's nothing. This Insomniac leak was over a terabyte. Dude, we've had some big fucking leaks. So this is more of a corporate HI data breach than a gaming leak. It's significant for Nintendo and affected employees. But so far, it doesn't appear to expose customer information or reveal new games or hardware plans. Nintendo says it is working with a third-party provider to address the incident. So this sucks for employees that might have their address or anything like that out there, or phone number or whatever. But it's not. It's like I say, it's worse for the employees, but it's not as significant as or the Game Freak leak, which I think was. What do we say? We looked at this up the other day. It was either one terabyte or 1.5 terabytes or something like that. It's fucking huge. So I think it sucks for the employees, but I don't think this is actually that big of a deal in the greater gaming scheme.
Still shit.
Bungie is set to lay off roughly 400 staff in summer. So I think what they're going to be left with, and I mean, Bungie already had a lot of employees, but I think that we're going to be left with kind of two teams. One of them to be like a marathon support team to keep being a live service game. Sounds like as well far easier for them to update than it ever was for Destiny. And the other team, I imagine, is going to be like one team to make their own thing. So Bungie has already been split off into two completely separate teams. One of them I don't think has been officially revealed or named, working on a project that was internally called Gummy Bears.
Interesting.
They also had one called Matter. I don't know what that was. Maybe Matter ended up becoming Marathon. Maybe it was its own thing entirely. Also, Matter is just kind of a cool name. But yes, I don't know if this is going to be the slow death of Bungie or not, but obviously Sony are like, we overpaid for this shit and we need to downsize this. So, yeah. I don't know if we're going to be getting Destiny 3 or if they're going to kind of tell Bungie, you need to make this or what. I don't know. I think this could be the start of the slow death. Well, it might have already started, to be honest. But we'll see. I think Marathon's great. I really enjoy it. I put in some good hours on Marathon. Let me see. How many hours did I chuck in? Yeah, about 65 hours. It's fucking solid effort.
Solid shift.
We'll see in a year's time if we're pouring one out for Bungie. Hopefully not. So, it was rumoured that the Halo campaign Evolved trailer that we saw the other day was supposed to be at the State of Play, and Xbox pulled it last minute. So, it sounds like this is more than a rumour, as Sony's like really, really displeased with Microsoft and Xbox over this. All the footage shown of it displayed captured on PS5 Pro, which I think seems to be like the biggest giveaway, or that this was supposed to be at the PlayStation show, because why put a game on your Xbox showcase with captured on PlayStation 5 Pro on every single fucking piece of gameplay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at the Xbox showcase. You could have it captured on PC, but clearly it seems to me that they pulled it and then put it on their own showcase. So, yeah. PlayStation not particularly happy about this, as well as pulling Gears E-Day, which was supposed to be completely done and ready for PlayStation 5, and then them going like, no, we ain't bringing it. We ain't bringing it, dog. So, yes, but I do think that so they've showed off the full, like, third-person playable mode in Halo Campaign Evolved, and this has been something that's been in them previously. You equip a certain like skull, which is like an in-game modifier, and then you can play in third person. So not the first one to do it. However, I think that's going to help PlayStation gamers actually get into Halo. I don't think they're so used to, like, what was the last first party PlayStation game? What was it?
Killzone.
Probably Killzone. Yeah, I think you're right. Killzone would be up there. There was what, PS4, Killzone, Shadowfall, I think it was. Was it Liberation? I think there was a fucking handheld game. Yeah. So I think that the third person mode is actually going to help some of these PlayStation gamers be like, oh yeah, I'll actually give it a go. Xbox had their recent showcase, which we had reported on. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
It was stacked.
And they've said they're going back to exclusives. Only a couple of games have been announced for exclusivity so far. Gears E-Day and Clockwork Revolution so far. But is this going to be enough to revive Xbox? So before I chime in, Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think? Is this going to be enough? And do you think having exclusive games is important for a platform?
It is when you're struggling, because you need to be like, hey, you can only play this on Xbox. Last thing you want is them to be like, nah, it's all good. I'll get it on PS5. It's I've already got one. So it depends. They're going to have to make their games pretty enticing. Now, when they mean exclusive, especially because you said E-Day is coming to Game Pass,
Yep.
is coming to PC. Is also Clockwork Revolution coming, because I'd say if you didn't
Yeah,
do a simul release with PC, there's a good way of having a dead in the water game.
yeah, I agree. I think that you can't put the genie back in the bottle with PC, and I think that the whole idea now as well is like you have an off ramp of still have, if they're not gonna play the games on console, you've still got, hey, you can play them over here, and it's just easier to get people over. And if the next console is a hybrid, like if it's a PC console hybrid, then you've already got this off ramp for them to come over. Yeah, I think that in the state that they're in, as much as I personally would rather them not do exclusive games, and this is one thing I actually have liked a lot about the Xbox ecosystem, is that I've gassed up the Xbox ecosystem for a while because I'm a PC gamer, ultimately. So you'd feel very different about it probably if you're a console gamer or like on other platforms, right? But as a PC gamer, I'm like, this is great. I really like this ecosystem. I get all the best of it, but I get to play on my preferred platform.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think when you're struggling to sell boxes, you need to sell boxes, you need to have something that the competition doesn't have. Like, for me personally, like I say, I would rather no exclusivity on anything anymore. But Steven's a great example. Steven bought a Switch too.
Yeah.
Because it has exclusive games. You can't play Pokopia anywhere else.
And I'm future-proofing myself for Pokemon Wind and Waves, just in case they do another price hike.
Get in, because RAM hasn't dropped down as much as people wanted, and might go up another $50 before we get there. Maybe even another 100.
And I feel owning a console and a PC, I've basically got what I want from the game market covered. I've got my thing for exclusive titles for Switch 2, but I predominantly play PC.
I'm a sucker and I've got all of them, even the Xbox, but it's because I had a voucher. I wouldn't have bought an Xbox this generation if I didn't have a voucher that I needed to spend and only had a week left. And I was like, Xbox. But yeah, because like I said, on PC, I'll just play them there. But I've got a PS5. It's a little play. I played Saros earlier in the year. Also, fucking new game. Like, most of the time on PC, new game will be like $100, sometimes $120. Saros was $140.
Yeah.
Great game, but that game was not worth $140, bro. That game was probably like $70. Like, PlayStation, you are a money grubbing can't say, I tell you.
I mean, at least with Nintendo, you can buy cheaper digitally, but I remember I was like, I'm just going to browse the wares, see if there's a game that I can buy on payday. I look at Pokemon ZA Switch 2, it's like $130. No thank you, sir. Like, not at the moment.
Yeah, wait for it to go. I mean, these games often don't go on sale, but everyone always says about how Nintendo games never go on sale. It's like, bro, have you been on the PlayStation store? Nintendo gets way better deals these days than PlayStation. It's crazy. Xbox store, like I said, I don't know what deals they get because I don't buy games here. I just play Game Pass. I'm part of the problem. I know. I understand.
Do you want to buy this game on Game Pass? Nope.
No, thank you. Once again, fucking ducking under it. Yeah. So I do think that this is something they need to do. The problem is, Gears of War E-Day has an estimated cost of $400 million.
Shit.
I don't think they're making the money back on these two platforms, to be honest. I don't think there's enough Xboxes out there in the wild. They need to sell at least 5.7 million copies. I don't think Gears it's just not the powerhouse it once was. That might have happened back in the day, and I think even then that would be a little bit high because I don't think Gears sold. I think they were selling copies at about the 5 millions, So, yeah, I don't think they're going to make their money back, and I think they're being put in a rough spot. So my understanding, though, is that the Coalition is kind of they are their like big Unreal Engine studio, right? They've invested a lot of money. So these are the guys that know Unreal Engine inside Xbox like better than anyone else. So I think they've spent a lot of money on developing a lot of tools to work it with the Unreal Engine as well that the other studios can use. So maybe the actual cost is closer to 300 million, which is still a lot of money, but it depends on how they view it. And when you've put things on Game Pass, hard to make, sell 5.7 million copies when you're giving it away not for free, but for the price of the subscription. Oh, dude, I don't think they'll close down the coalition, but fuck, they might. They might if they sell 1 million copies and go, we're $200 million short of this. See you later. But hopefully not. There's a lot of Xbox shit to talk about. Some of it related to that, but you just got to get through it. They've said the demand for Xbox consoles is currently outstripping supply. And Matthew Ball has said, "We are producing them as quickly as possible. This is a severe limitation to how quickly we can do that. But it's not a question of appetite. That is a privilege as a company. It is a challenge for us to figure out." Dude, I don't think this is true. What do you mean the demand is outstripping the supply? You can find Xboxes everywhere, man. Nobody's got a stock shortage. So I don't know. I just don't believe this. It's just maybe they've sold some more than, great. But I've never seen them sold out ever anywhere.
Nah. I've seen at place of work us getting like pallets of PS5s. We'll have a dedicated like storage racking for them, and they will all go within like 3 months, maybe more. We still will get in like 6, 12 Xboxes. They just stay there. They're e-waste at this point. They just don't move.
Yeah. Especially with how much they increased the price. And sure, they were selling them at a loss, I know, but you kind of just have to take it on the chin and hope you sell some subscriptions to Game Pass or some fucking games, man. Like, what would you rather, sell these for a loss or not sell them at all?
Rock meets hard place.
Yeah. It's something I learned working at a Harvey Norman. Like, we'd have times where you'd have a product that, let's say, we bought for $100 and you normally sell for $150 and it's not selling at all. And then you go, okay, we need to get rid of it. So you sell it for $80. Yes, you lose $20 on each one. However, the longer you leave it, the lower you're going to have to make that price and the more money you will lose. With some suppliers and some products, you're able to send them back to the supplier and get a credit and so on. A lot of them you can't. It's just like, you're just going to lose money. You give that another year, you sell it for $50. You give it another year, you might sell it for $40. It's like, you recoup as much as you can. So I say, who the fuck is buying an Xbox right now for the price that they're at? No one. If someone said, I'm thinking of buying an Xbox, I'd be like, bro, buy a second-hand Series S on Facebook Marketplace for like $200 New Zealand dollars, which is what Alex did. And it's great for that price. Don't go buy a new one for like, I don't know, fucking $600 or something. Like, what do you pay for a Series S now?
And at least with the Series X, they've released like multiple special editions. Like, there's ones where it's like a black, but it's got like specs running through it, and it's like, people just don't care.
Yeah, I think that one looked really nice.
It did. But
you can get an Xbox Series S 1 terabyte, so not their 512 gig, which they used to do, in the warehouse for $600 on sale, down from $650.
Wouldn't it be funny if, like,
That's funny though.
What?
It was real funny. Saying, bro, they're in stock everywhere. They're actually sold out at the warehouse. There's a surprise. JB Hi-Fi's got them in stock though, so you get one there. Noel Leeming's got them in stock, so the warehouse is just an exception.
Wouldn't it be funny
BB Tech,
if there was like a big
yeah,
load of
stock.
people who attended the Xbox showcase, got those limited editions, and it's like Xbox is like, well, I can't wait to tick this up on eBay or their equivalent of Trade Me. Thank you for giving me
It's
money with extra steps.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, it's a sad state. But, like, once again, look how few Nintendo stories we've had. Look how few PlayStation stories we've had, bro. There's so many Xbox stories all the time. It's just, it's so juicy. Like, I'd say at our core, we're like a PC gaming podcast, but with like a, you know, but we want to cover all gaming. It's like mostly Xbox news. We're by de facto an Xbox podcast because they're the ones who, it's always on fire. And it's just so... It's so interesting.
I think the hardest we ever went at Sony is when they were talking about dynamic pricing.
Oh, dude, I fucking hated that shit. Oh, my God. I think it's so slimy. I feel like Sony does the most slimeable things in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, they're like... EA has done in the past, but right now, Sony's like... Because they don't have the competition, because they just want to do all the slimeable shit, and that's why we need Xbox to be strong. So then Sony can get back to being an ass kicker and actually be what they're supposed to be, you know? These guys are the leading console in terms of, like, you know, because Switch 2 is great, but it's not a performance, you know, machine. So we need Sony to kick some ass. Well, we need Microsoft to kick some ass, Xbox, so Sony can kick more ass and actually pull their finger out. PS4 generation was fucking excellent because they were on the back foot after the PS3 generation where they lost money.
Sony at the moment sort of are like a unchecked schoolyard bully, and it's just like, you should stop that. It's like, who's gonna stop? It's just like, that shit. It's like, who's gonna stop me though?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's no one to keep them in line because they're not. I think it's going to change with this next generation of console because they're going to have their handheld, and I think Nintendo and them will actually be kind of competing for the same market again, which I think will be good. But Nintendo just never really cares what anyone else is doing, which I think sometimes has been good and sometimes has been bad. We've seen it in generations where they've done really poorly, like the Wii U and the GameCube, which GameCube was good, but they still did really poorly. But then they did the Wii, and it was like the Wii clearly didn't give a fuck what everyone else was doing. The Switch, they didn't give a fuck what anyone else was doing. And I think it's neat. I think they're great.
Ever since Nintendo went like 3D, they've had peaks and valleys. It's like Nintendo 64, great. GameCube, great, but didn't sell well. The Wii U, gangbusters. The Wii gangbusters. The Wii U, confusing marketing because people thought it was just an add-on peripheral to the Wii. The Switch, big ups. Who know? Hopefully they can discontinue that trend, and the Switch 2 stays up.
To be fair, the Nintendo 64 did really poorly in sales as well. So they had a couple of stinkers in a row. So I feel like it's not one good one, or one success, one failure. The Switch 2 is already a success, I believe. Like on launch, it was the fastest selling console ever as well. Like, I think it's petered out a bit, but it's still doing decently. So yeah, I think they're doing really well right now with what they're doing. So again, they have exclusive games, like we said, like they are, and I think as much as I said, look, Nintendo, you're starting to slip into these games are becoming quite samey, and it's becoming a little PlayStation and a little Ubisoft. Don't fall into that, but I think right now, if you're buying a platform for the exclusive games, I think the Switch is the best one to buy because I think that they have more variety. And yes, some of them are going to be the last gen games, right? But you have Zelda, you've got Mario,
Pokemon,
you've got your Donkey Kong, Splatoon's coming out, you got Pokemon. Most of these games are quite different from each other.
Astral Chain 2. It was a nice change of pace from your usual Platinum games.
You know what? They might do it. I don't think they will. Platinum Games, though, is kind of a gun for hire. I could see them doing it. I really could. I don't think it did well enough to warrant a sequel, but I think it should have. So, yeah, I could say this. They're doing a new Xenoblade game. They're doing a new Fire Emblem game.
Oh,
There's like, I think these are far more interesting than play the same Sony formula games that are going to come out. As much as I think that the God of War and the Wolverine game actually do look good, it's just, like I said, Ghost of Yotei and Days Gone and Spider-Man, they're all the same fucking formula at their core. And I'm like, I get to play the same game over and over again. And at least these other guys are doing something different. And that's what I've liked about the Xbox platform, is that because they bought a bunch of people, they didn't fucking nurture it themselves. You do get a lot more variety. You know, Forza, Gears of War, Fable, Halo. Those are all very, very different games from each other. Like, you've only got 2 third persons, right? Which one's an RPG, one's a shooter. You've got a first person shooter, and you've got a racing game. Like, those are all as the pillars. You've still got Gran Turismo over on PlayStation as well. But as those pillars, I just think there's more variety and more. It's more interesting, and same with Nintendo.
I think
the ceiling for PlayStation is very high.
I think what they should do if they do another Switch 2 bundle is bundle it with that that Switch 2 Sports Resort game coming out.
I think the Switch 2 is too expensive for that to blow up like the Wii.
True. The thumb wrestling does look fun, though.
I've heard people are quite into that. If I look up Wii launch price, how much was
I also forget.
that? Here it was $500 when it launched here. So in the US it was $250, right? What do you pay for a Switch 2 right now?
$900.
Got bundles, right? Yeah, so between $850 and $950 for bundle ones.
Also,
So yeah, it's 200. Well, wait, $350 more dollars, right? And you don't, and that's without a bundled game. Versus the $500 when also the economies and stuff were much better at the time. $500 just felt like it was easier to throw away than now when people are struggling. I think it's a much harder sell. However, there might be some people that it might work for. I think there's potential. I just don't think we're in that same economy and the same mindset for people right now.
Some tech that I didn't even know the Switch 2 could do. You can use it as a mouse.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. I can't imagine what I'll use it on because I will usually be playing it in bed or I'm sitting down at a chair, TV, just real Quasimodo spec, just hunched over like that. I don't have a table next to me.
Someone didn't buy the Switch welcome tour like I did for $10. Dude, I know as well it's the whole Japanese philosophy by we worked on this, so you should spend money on it. I get that, but you should have bundled that in, man.
Yeah.
You should have bundled that shit in. Come on now. What are we doing? Reggie Fils-Aimé had to fight Nintendo on bundling Wii Sports into it. If it didn't come with Wii Sports, I think you would have sold, I was going to say half, but it's not half, but you might have sold like 30% less units, right? You would have sold tens of millions less units if it didn't come with Wii Sports for sure, you know? That was why so many families bought it. So many people's grandparents had a fucking Wii. People had never played video games in their life, but they're like, I've played tennis, so I can... Wow! I've played bowling! Wow!
And then there was also people get the Motion Control Plus.
Yeah. Exactly. So... we will see. I don't think this is going to be enough to save Xbox. However, I think this is what they need to do to survive. And like I say, personally, once again, from a perspective of I would rather no exclusivity, but I get it. I do get it. There's also been there's internal talks that have come out that Microsoft are considering spinning out Xbox and have it as a completely separate business, which has also meant if this happens, they would be laying off a lot of people because they'd be having to be profitable on their own. This has also led to let me just shuffle this around in my document. So it seems like there are a bunch of, these are like those rumors that are pretty well like documented. They're actually talking about this. They are talking about shutting down a bunch of studios. So the potential targets right now are Compulsion Games, who made South of Midnight, Arcane, who are making the Blade game and made Deathloop, Ninja Theory, who made Hellblade, and Double Fine, who more recently made Keeper and made Psychonauts. Saying it sounds like, because the thing is with AAA games, obviously it costs you a lot more money, but the ceiling to make money is generally a lot higher, and they want to focus more on these AAA games and cut costs. So South of Midnight sold an estimated 500,000 copies, which is not great for this. And that was on a budget of $100 million.
Jeez.
So that didn't even get close to recouping the costs. Which I did enjoy South of Midnight, but it was fine. It wasn't the most remarkable game. The music was great, the art was great. But Microsoft bailed out Double Fine when they bought them. So Double Fine had launched a Kickstarter about $400,000 for a game. I've forgotten the name of it. It was a game I wasn't even familiar with, Broken Age.
Oh yeah.
So they had done this Kickstarter. They raised over $3.3 million. Right, so they were like, we need $400K. They raised $3.3 million and they still went over budget. How do you go over budget? You said you needed $400K for it. You spent $3.3 million. What the fuck? You spent almost $3 million more than what you had for your budget. That's fucking crazy. So Tim Schafer he's a popular figure in there, and he is the one that makes the Day of the Devs showcase happen, which was excellent this year. He is also, though, we talk about millennial cringe a bit. Even as millennials, he is very much millennial cringe coded as a human being. He might be Gen X, he might be millennial, I don't know, but he loves millennial cringe more than the average man. He's an acquired taste. And he's like an absolute legend in indie games. Right? But if your games are not making money and they're losing money, I get it. I get why they chose all these teams as well. So I think Compulsion, of all the games on the list, all the studios, I think they are probably the most likely to go. And I think that makes sense to me, unfortunately. Arcane, I don't think they should shut down Arcane. I think it's a really, really bad idea. These guys also made Dishonored. I think this would be a dumb idea. This studio could make you some fucking bangers, and if you don't let them, I think people are going to be very upset. Ninja Theory, I think tech-wise, they seem really interesting. However, Hellblade 1 made an okay amount of money. Didn't set the world on fire, but it was like good. Hellblade 2, people are like, this isn't even a fucking game. People are like, visually this is amazing. Sound-wise, it's amazing. They won an award for like best performance. Things like that. Okay. But you spent how long? Like 7 years or something making this thing that's almost like a tech demo. I get why, even though... So the rumor is as well with that new game, Senua, that they've got coming out, the reason they showed that off, because it's not really ready yet, was they want to try to sell the studio to someone else. That's what it sounds like. And then the last one being Double Fine. Of course, they made things like Brutal Legend and stuff like that. They're another one that I don't know if you should sell. I really enjoyed Keeper. I think that it does benefit you to have studios that aren't necessarily just, you're here to make us lots of money. You can have studios that can get you prestige, right? And get, and obviously you want things to go into Game Pass and things like that. you could win awards for visuals and soundtracks and things like that, because the Xbox doesn't really win a lot of these awards. It's actually these are the studios that win these awards, to be quite honest. Deathloop won Game of the Year, like the year it came out, even though a lot of people would tell you that it shouldn't have won Game of the Year and so on. And that was before Microsoft acquired them, or they had acquired them, and yeah, it was also a PlayStation exclusive at the time. It was a weird thing. But these are teams that are the likely ones to win them awards, as well as who they closed out previous, like Tango, which I don't think they should have closed down. I think Compulsion probably should have gone before Tango went. But I see why these are the ones potentially on the list. But I think you give, at the bare minimum, you give Arcane a chance to prove themselves with this Blade game. And then maybe if you need to cut costs, then close the others. But don't just close down Arcane without giving them the chance. What do you think? You think if they were to close them down, these studios I do think make sense?
That whole Double Fine overspin, because I remember seeing Hamish play, I think, Broken Age, and I was like, this is a pretty cool, like, point and click. Well, I can't even remember if it was a point and click, but it had that sort of feel to it. And I was just like, oh my. I mean, Psychonauts, I tried to give a fair shake. I know it's got, like, a dedicated audience, but I've heard of Double...
I tried as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into either of the Psychonauts games. I love a 3D platformer, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to see the Blade game not be able to come to fruition. When you said, like, oh, Ninja Theory, it's like, not my Ninja Gaiden. I was like, no, that's Team Ninja. Whoops.
I always mix them up as well.
But yeah.
These are the more arty ones, and I think that it's still a big loss if these teams go. I really do think it would be a real shame. However, I understand why it'd be these ones. You're not going to get rid of your Treyarch or your Infinity Ward to make Call of Duty. You're not going to get rid of Bethesda, as much as maybe they should. As a Bethesda, I say hater, but I still want to see them succeed. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I get why these would be the studios you would pick.
I was thinking, it's like, what is one game that Ninja Theory did that I can remember? I was like, DMC in 2013.
Yeah, which a lot of people were like, also revisionist history on this now, right? People were like, this game was terrible, and then people were like, this might have actually been the best that the gameplay ever was in Devil May Cry. They didn't like the changes to Dante and so on, and that's fair. And they're like, they made his hair black. He's supposed to have white hair, which also, I mean, fair enough. I actually think it's like, why would you change that for the character?
So basically, you know how in the other Devil May Cry games, when he goes Devil Trigger, he turns into a devil-like creature. So in DMC, his jacket shines red and his hair turns white. And when he starts getting like using more and more of his like the demon powers, like his hair starts to like have white patches start to grow through.
That's cool. The first time I ever saw that game in action was at Jordan's house.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it, and I was like, oh, this game's cool, actually, man. What the fuck? But maybe they should have made it not Dante. Maybe they should have made it a different character.
Maybe, yeah.
It is Dante, isn't it? It's
not
like
because I remember Adam was like, it's just like, yeah, the new this was when I was in high school. It's like, yeah, the new Devil May Cry looks cool. DMC looks cool and all, but I don't like the main character. He has hair like looks at me. It's like, he has hair like you. When I had like a short fringe.
Dude, the Metacritic scores and stuff are good. Like 80, like 86 at the highest and 83 at the lowest. It's actually like pretty well received. It was just the fans, that didn't like it. This was them trying to reboot it, and yeah, man, like I say, I just think this should have been a different character. Just don't make them Dante, make them their own thing, and I think it would have been way better received. That was all you would have had to do.
They could have just used Nero again.
Yeah. It could have been Nero. So, well, this is the ads thing again. Xbox is floating an idea of in-game ads. Yeah. They said they want to keep our products affordable. And I do hate this idea for them. Like I said, I don't hate it for the sports games when it's that kind of advertising. I really think that's probably a better way to do it. But I'm just like imagining a free version of Call of Duty where you've got to watch like a 30-second ad in between matches or anything. And I know that would be not the end of the world, but and maybe that's preferable to spending $120 or something out the gate or more. But imagine in like a single player game, like you're playing Halo, you're in the middle of combat, and then a fucking 30 seconds McDonald's ad starts playing, and then you're like fucking, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking firefight. I don't know. I think in a single player game, shit like that cannot work. Like maybe you do an Alan Wake where they've got a sponsorship for fucking Duracell and or is it Duracell or Energizer? It might be Energizer. I can't remember. It's been a long time. It might be Duracell actually. Are they orange and black ones? Or it's a brown? I don't know. It's like a orangey brown.
I know the ones you're talking about. I'm just trying to think. I think it is Duracell.
Yeah,
Battery nerd.
let me see. Let me see. Who is it? The product placement. It was Energizer. Okay, which that's a better brand anyway. And Verizon was for the cell phone calls, right? And I can forgive Remedy, who were not in a great spot financially when they would do these things, and when they did the remake of it or remaster, they didn't have the branding anymore. And there's like these billboards around everywhere. Some people don't mind it in a way because it's product placement is like, here's actual things in the game, sure, but still a little bit gross. There's another game, I think on the GameCube, where it's like you get your power-ups and they'll be like, oh, eat this. They wouldn't say a Skittle, they'd say eat the Skittles. I hate the idea of a singular Skittle being a Skittles. But I don't know about this, man. Like I said, sports games I do feel differently. This I think is probably going to be egregious, but
we'll break
we don't
the
know if they'll
immersion
implement
pretty
it
quick.
Yeah. And for some people, it's like I can't afford to buy a game right now. However, if I play the ad version, then I can play it. And maybe that's an option for some people. I don't know, but I don't like it. We will see if they go ahead with it. And once again, if they do it, it'll be a slippery slope until they're taking the piss.
Yeah.
Because that always fucking happens. And that's the problem, eh? Like, you go, oh, this isn't all bad, and you're for it. We've done this with things here and there, and then they roll out really what their Omega plan is, and we go, oh, not like this. Not like this. So this here shows me as well. Companies need to listen to the fans. And I disagree a lot of the time, and this is a reason why. So, more than 20,000 Xbox fans are asking Microsoft to remove paid multiplayer from Xbox, saying players should not have to pay extra just to play online. Right? And look, I agree with the sentiment. I really do. Why would a company who's struggling so fucking hard give up the one thing that's guaranteeing them any income? You don't have enough consoles out there to try to go, oh, well, we'll just rely on people to buy the games. People aren't buying the games. It's not happening. They cannot get rid of this. And this is like from their like player like portal thing where they take feedback. It's not happening. And I think if they launch a new console, if they go, hey, free online, when a new console is, let's say, hopefully cheaper, and I don't think it will be, but cheaper than the PlayStation 6, and you won't have to pay a monthly subscription. And we're releasing before them, here it is. I think that could work. But right now, you cannot. You just simply cannot make that move. You would just absolutely kill your fucking ecosystem so fast. Oh, let's get it. People will, let's say, I don't know what the breakdown is anymore, but let's say you've got 10,000 people on the lowest level of Game Pass for online play. Let's say 10 million people, whatever. And all of them go, oh, we don't need to pay this anymore. And you lose like 10 million monthly subscriptions. Yes, you may lose a lot less than that. Could be way, way less. I don't know. But imagine that. You've just lost all this fucking income, this $15-20 a month, however much it is. I can't remember. Why would they do that to themselves when they're already struggling so much? It only works if they launch a new console and they're trying to beat out like Sony, with this. They're the ones that introduced this fucking subscription in the first place. We've got them to blame for it. All right. What do you think?
I think it's dumb. Especially because I don't want my immersion broken. I mean, it's a silly, a petty thing to get upset about. But I don't know. People hate ads. People get mad at ads. I don't think it's a good idea. I think this could harm your brand a bit.
And you think they're removing the paid subscriptions as well? You think it's just not the time.
No, especially when you're not financially in the best situation. Like, think about making those changes when you can, like, claw your way back up. Like, start looking into that. But it's just like, what you should be focusing on first and foremost is getting games into customers and potential new customers' hands.
Exactly. So I think let's say they released their Project Helix, right? And they've got, I don't know what game it could be. Let's say they've got a new, I don't think they will by this point, but let's say they had a new Fallout game, right? Which you'd want to be multi-platform, but go, hey, we're going to release this Fallout game with Project Helix. It's not going to be on any other platform other than PC, and you're not going to have to pay a subscription to play it. I guess you don't. Well, bad example.
Forza.
Because it's not an online game. Yeah, that's probably a better example. Hey, Forza Horizon 7 is coming out at launch with Project Helix. You can play it online for free. Here it is, and this is the only console you can play this game on. Might be enough to move some boxes. Could be the way. Like on PC, we are very accustomed to not paying for these subscriptions, and we will continue to not pay for these subscriptions. So, yeah, they talked about trying to get PC players to pay for these online subscriptions, and they're just like, PC players will not do it. We just simply will not. And PC gamers are more patient. They wait for sales and things like that. You see a game that you like and you go, don't know if it's $120 good. We'll wait for it to drop down to $30. We'll fucking do it.
An honest review that I always follow is, this game is good, not $80 good. It's like, this game is great when it's $30.
100%. Once again, we want to see everyone succeed because competition is good for everyone. Will they succeed? Who knows? If they spin off on their own as well, if Microsoft do spin them out, I think they will die. I think Xbox will be dead.
Yep.
So we will see maybe if they get a bit more time and start becoming profitable, but then why would they spin them out if they're profitable? You know, they'd be like, oh, we want to keep them. So we'll see what happens. So this here, we talk a little bit about these Culture Warrior things, and most of it we think's pretty fucking stupid. This one made me laugh so hard. So this Smash JT, who I think he was, as a child, was just too close to the fucking gas heater, just huffing fumes, just fucking. He's got to be. So they showed, the poster, the key art for Halo Campaign Evolved, and it had this like purple like kind of planet you see in the background. And if I butcher the name, it's my bad. It looks like Threshold, but I don't know if you actually pronounce it. Sci-fi bullshit. As much as I love Halo. So he had tweeted, circled, and said, "This is unnecessary and intentionally signaling trans. They know what they're doing. Once you notice bisexual lighting being used, you cannot unsee it. This is intentional. I will not be gaslit." I love the line, "Once you notice bisexual lighting." It's one of my favourite lines I've ever read. And then it's he got community noted on Twitter and said, "The circled purple area is the planet Threshold, the largest planet in the system Alpha Halo resides in. The new cover art for Halo Campaign Evolved is a direct remake of the original for Halo CE, also featuring Threshold." And yes, it's a little bit more purple on this than it was originally, like the original box art. However, they've got more colours at their disposal now. We don't have to make games as brown and as grey. Halo was actually always a pretty colourful game, to be honest. So things look a lot sharper in these kind of colours. They're more, not that the colours weren't deliberate, but they're very deliberate. They're not as. Halo was almost a little oversaturated, and now they don't oversaturate these things as much. And I just think that shows that purple better. But bro, bisexual lighting, so funny to me. You're like, I can't believe this guy's real. This doesn't. If I hadn't seen his other shit, you'd be like, there's no way this is a real tweet. Oh, but it is. This motherfucker is like this. It's so funny. So yeah,
Dumb.
that made me laugh a lot. Stephen, I see though in your house behind you, you've got a little bisexual lighting. What's going on there?
I have beige walls.
Yeah, I bet you do. Happy Pride Month.
Thank you.
Is that the last? Oh, yeah, no, we won't be able to get another Happy Pride Month before the end. That's going to be the last one.
Damn. Happy Pride Month.
Chahu, my brother. You know what, Stephen? Treat yourself, mate. Go out and kiss a boy, all right?
Nah, it's too cold for that. Carry on.
All right, so the games we're playing. So I finished Me Into the Hollower. There was kind of a sadness to the ending, but there was a nice ending as well, and there was a bit of a twist, which I didn't expect. I knew a twist was happening, but I didn't expect the twist in the ending, which was very, very pleasant and very sweet. Right at the last little bit. Very nice. Bro, I finished this game. I got 9 out of 50 achievements. What the fuck? I beat the damn game. There's a lot of optional stuff, and I spent a little over 20 hours, and I'm like, cool, I've had my fill. I really enjoyed it. It's very good. It's got some flaws, but overall, great game. Well, I've been playing some fucking demos. So I'll go into these demos. I'm not going to go on these for too long because they are just demos. I played Shroom and Gloom. So this is a deck building roguelike, which, very much my thing. Which I did beat this, which was cool. There's different characters you can. It's like you unlocked a character. I'm like, oh cool, I'll try to play that character. It's like, yeah, not in the demo. I'm like, well, don't tell me I've unlocked them, you motherfucker. But then you've got two kind of types of cards. So you've got these world cards. So you have a shovel, and you've got your 3 mana, and you'll go use the shovel, which will cost you 1 mana. You'll dig something up, and you'll find an item. And you're like, oh, cool, this is something, it might be a world card, it might be a card to play. You also have ones that are like a match, so you can, and it might have 8 uses. And it's like, okay, cool, there's these mushrooms over here that if I set these on fire, then I'll gain some edible mushrooms or whatever. There'll be like keys to unlock doors and chests. Some of them cost you nothing. Some of them cost you health. Some of them you want warmth at these like little campfires. So when you rest, you won't take damage, because when you rest, you reset your mana, and then you can, use these other things that are around you. So some of them you might find, oh, I found a workbench, so I can upgrade a weapon, but you need like a tool to fix the workbench that will cost you like a mana to use, stuff like that. And then you've got like your combat deck. So you've got cards that'll be like increase all the damage of the cards in your hand by 1, and it'll cost you 1 mana to use. So you're okay. You've got ones that is like, if this kills an enemy, you'll gain a heal for 5 in your hand, things like that. Well, you'll do ones that'll be like inflict vulnerable onto enemies, so you'll deal more damage when you hit them. Stuff like that. It's just like a good formula. It's got this like kind of grossness to it as well, with the mushroom stuff everywhere. But yeah, it's really, really good. I would like a way to just speed the game up a little bit. I think it's a little slow. Maybe it's because I'm unhinged and I just want to fucking speed run through. But yeah, the boss at the end is really fucking hard and had many phases. First time I got up to him, I died real fucking quick and thought, this boss is going to be hard. And then the next time I got up to them, you got to go through like fucking 5 phases or something. It's tough. Yeah. But really, really good, really rewarding. You start beating up these parts of its limbs, and then it will go, you draw a card and get more mana, and it increases your maximum mana as you go. So you think it's getting easier, but then it will start doing things that's like, if you use a card, each card you use that turn will cost you 1 more mana. So you start with a 1 cost card, and then it's like, then it's going to cost you 2, and then it's going to cost you 3 mana. So, yeah, but overall very good. I'm looking forward to the full release, and I imagine I'll be playing that pretty early. Played the Valor Mortis demo, but only Chapter 1, because they were like, you can do Chapter 5, but there's spoilers, and I'm like, I actually don't want this. So this is the first-person Souls-like game, and dude, it's really fucking good. So you've got a block and parry system in it, because of course you do. You've got a sword. You've got a gun, which does have a limited amount of ammo, but then you've also got like magic you can use. So I got a spell to like just set dudes on fire. So yeah, and you've got a limited kind of mana pool, but you've got a little bit that will always replenish up to a certain point. So when I was fighting this boss, I would actually set it all the way on fire when I'd hit its second phase, and then I would get into switch to my gun, and then shooting its weak points, and then I was just trying to block and dodge certain attacks. Dude, this game's great. I say the very first, at least that I've played, of a first-person Souls-like. So I found you don't play as Napoleon, but he like talks to you through like almost like sounds like a vision. Napoleon's not real. But yeah, it's really, really good. Thematically, I really, really dig it. There's a little bit of the kind of platforming and so on, but not much, which I don't think it should do too much. Yeah, I very much want to play the full thing.
Oh yeah.
Just when you think I'm done with betas and demos, bam, Mortal Shell 2 beta. I completed it. This beta's got achievements. I saw my boy Matt Code had 8 out of 9 achievements, and I'm like, I gotta do better. I gotta do this shit. There's like a tutorial boss like right at the start who you're not really supposed to beat, but if you're good enough, you can. And I had to beat it. I had to fight him like maybe 3 or 4 times until I could actually beat him, which took me a while. Because I got to run all the way through the fucking tutorial again, which takes a while. But yeah, it's good, man. As well, it's much better than the first game. I did not like the first game much at all. It felt really slow, really clunky. I like a difficult game, but it felt extremely difficult. So in this game, you've got your shells in it. So shells with like different abilities. Like the one they gave you in the demo is like a stealth one, which is not my fucking playstyle at all. You could have like a parry ability or one where you turn to stone, which will kind of still work as a parry, but it's got a bit of a bigger window. I played with a big fucking 2-handed sword because that's very much my style. But yeah, bro, it's a Souls-like. there's merchants, and you could upgrade your weapon and so on, which I don't think upgrade the weapon seemed to fucking help at all. I didn't do it until right at the end either. I wish you could actually upgrade your weapon at your, like, it's not a bonfire, but it's a Souls game. Yeah, boss fights and stuff were all right. They weren't super remarkable. This is not a day one for me, but really, really cool seeing how much the studio, how far they've come. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But, that's again not a day one for me. Visually, it's great. The enemies look great. Quite different looking enemy types and things. The last demo I've been playing. Shout out to our homie Totally Porf. Tacticauldron, and I gotta say, I'm too fucking stupid for this game. I'm too fucking dumb. Kind of puzzle tactics game. And the premise behind it, which I really like, is that there's always little kind of food items and things around the map on the grid, right? You've got to go collect them, which is part of your turn, and then you can attack. So some of them might be increased damage by 1. Some of them might be increased range by 1. Or they attack in this particular pattern. So, you don't attack in front of you, you attack out the sides, like, instead. So you can hit multiple enemies at once. Things like that. This one's got knockback. Things like that. And you combine them in your little cauldron. You can combine 2. And then you attack with them. But, bro, I just kept getting my ass kicked. Oh my god. I got to the point I got the second character. And so on. And, man. And the game's very cute. It's very charming. The soundtrack is excellent. As Porf is just a fucking wizard. But I think I'm too stupid, man. It's a tactics game for the thinking man, and I'm just not the thinking man, is what it comes down to. Very, very cute. If you're into tactics games, definitely check it out. And the last game, playing a lot, Frog Squad. And I've talked enough. Stephen has played this too. Stephen, please tell the lovely audience about Frog Squad.
So Frog Squad is a visually real pleasant game. Vibrant colours, everything's cel-shaded, the music fucking slaps. So essentially there's
very good music.
There's this big 5-eyed, what looks like a toad, and you have a quota of how much food needs to be brought back to him. You do these levels like in the sewer, and it's physics based. So you and your mates are these little frogs. You can use your frogs to like Spider-Man across on pipes. You'll have things like there'll be like this little suitcase that someone has to tongue. 2 people need to tongue it, and they need to like pull it open, eat up the food. If you have a little meter, there's like a little circle that says like if you go over this, it's like you're going to become like a mega frog, which means you're fat and you roll. That's hectic. But then there'll be things like you have to do these puzzle platforming with like these enemies trying to chuck fire at you, all while you and your mate are trying to bring like this giant turkey leg or chicken leg down. You get the food, and then there's like
it's not a wing.
It's not a wing. Basically, there'll be a boat, which is where you depart, but attached to that, there'll be like this big, like, essentially like a pole that, with all the food that you're eating, you hold the right button and you vomit it into it, and you have to drag this, the big pieces like chicken leg, burger, or what was giving, and I'll let you tell why. Jello. Why was the Jello such a bastard?
Bro, this shit would bounce you all over the fucking place, man. Like, you just accidentally just fucking lightly tap the Jello, you're bouncing around the fucking screen, and when you put it in the food, like, the bowl, it just, anything you drop on it starts bouncing out, and the Jello starts bouncing around. It's so fucking hard to contain. We were this fucking close to winning, and the Jello definitely contributed to fucking it up for us, eh? But It was pretty funny.
One of my favorite things to do is there'll be like a platform that you can't make a jump over. So what you do is you get you to tongue the ground, or tongue a surface,
Yep.
and then you get your other teammate to tongue your bum, and then walk backwards and then just slingshot them across. That was satisfying.
Yeah, slingshotting was a lot of fun, eh? It was really fucking cool. It was, yeah, and I said at one stage, I'm like, look, I know this is like a physics based game, but I always feel like there's too much physics. And I do stand by that, but it is very silly, very fun, very charming. Oh, there's a vending machine as well. So you get power ups like you can have bigger capacity.
Longer
So
tongue.
you can fit more. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. Run faster. In hindsight, I think bigger capacity is probably the best one. Yeah, but very fun, very charming, cute wee game. Definitely worth a look. I think if you're into friend slop, which we very much are. All right. What else you playing?
So yeah, bought a Switch 2, the Pokopia bundle, so I can actually play Pokopia instead of like playing it on my girlfriend's one.
Mooching off your missus?
Yeah, and the best thing is since I've seen her play it, and she's very like, I don't want this Pokemon here because they're ugly, and I was just like, yeah, but they've got utilities. Like, I don't care, they're ugly. So I'm doing the opposite one. It's like, okay, this is going to put in this environment habitat is going to get me Scyther. Need him to cut down trees. Put down a habitat. So I got Pinsir, and then Pinsir is just like, hey, if you've got some logs, I can turn them into like lumber for you. I was like, that's so fucking sick, Pinsir, because I need lumber. I need lumber to build some more habitats. I'm making a nice little area for, as someone very well, your missus, um, perfectly put it. I'm trying to make a Hitmon house and having like
Yeah.
Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, and Tyrogue all in this like big house together. The good thing is because I've semi-played it before, watched my missus play it, I can just streamline being like, sweet, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. Sweet, I know this habitat will spawn X, cool. Get that person into a Pokemon hut so I can have a chance of another visitor coming. In one of the areas, I have both Marchote and Marchamp. I thought that was pretty sick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting in some more hours into it. Maybe get a little bit creative.
Hell. Yeah, everyone I've spoken to who has played it seems to really enjoy it, eh? Which is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's fun, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's like Animal Crossing, and I was like, aesthetics maybe, but it's more akin to an underrated gem in the form of Dragon Quest Builders 2. Funny enough, done by the same team. It's a Koei Tecmo game.
Checks out. Are you playing anything else?
Oh, Frog Squad with the boys. Um, I've also been playing dabbling when I've taken a break from the Switch. I've been going about playing Dragon Quest 11. The only problem is that since I've left it for a little bit and I've unlocked the ability to, I've unlocked the boat so I can swim around the sail around the world map. I kind of lost track of my main objective. And it's just like, one of them is, I'm at this point where you find this item and you have to find 6 different orbs. And this mermaid will give you hints, but she won't tell you where they are. And if you go into like a new town or something, this item will start glowing. And it's like, mint. Where to next? I finally, well, it's iced up and I can't actually get into it, but I've landed on the shore of the brilliantly named Snowy Kingdom of Sniffleheim.
Okay, that's kind of fucking sick.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sniffleheim.
Oh, dude, that's so fun.
Yeah, dude, the sand area where it's renowned for horse racing is called Gallopolis. Dumb names.
That's so cute. Very, very charming, very silly. I dig that, man.
Yeah. So that's what's been keeping me busy. And I'll be able to talk about it next episode, but the first character of Season 4 of Street Fighter 6, Yasmin, the Filipino character, gameplay is dropped of hers. I'll be able to watch that, have some thoughts for the next episode.
Sick. And the last things I will touch on real briefly, but I haven't dabbled enough to actually properly talk about them, is I did dabble a little bit of the demo of the Adventures of Elliot, and I dabbled a tiny bit of Sea of Stars. But I need more time with them to really form some solid thoughts on them, you know? So yeah. Alright. Let's get into Steam review. Got a review for Frog Squad. I keep buying these games, but I have no friends. Sad face. 1 like equals 1 prayer. This is from Jorino. Yes, if you were going to play Frog Squad, please make sure you have some friends. Yeah. It is definitely better with friends. What do you got?
So this is a review on Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii from Lucifer999. And they say, I don't know why RGG Studios insists on putting a robust combat system and an interesting story in my Mahjong simulator, but I'll consider that a cherry on a very delicious cake.
Very on brand for a Yakuza fan, that's for sure. They just stuff so much into those games, it's fucking unreal. It's
Hell yeah.
Good to see.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so I think that's all we have for episode 38 of the No Scrubs podcast. That was a good ep, man. We got, nearly got 3 hours. Looking at the doc, I was like, man, I don't know. This happens a lot, though. We go, I don't know if we got enough to talk about. And then we go for nearly 3 hours and go, okay, that was plenty.
Thank you, Arrested Development.
Oh, dude, we went on some fucking tangents. It's funny, though, because at the start, we were really bad at getting on these tangents and really bad at bringing them back around. And over time, we've gotten a lot better at getting back to where we need to be, which is great. Like I said, it's always a concern when I'm the one that needs to steer the ship, eh? Like, I've said, because neither of us are that guy. But we always come back around again.
Eventually.
All right. It's a joy to be, mate. And anyone who made it this far, please, I know, cringe. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. It does help. I do appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.